John Marks. All Philadelphia, all day. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
What up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to Middays with Marks on 97.5 The Fanatic. It's not just all Philadelphia for 4 hours of the show. It's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I give 110% to being all Philadelphia all the time. With Ray Dunn today. Good morning, Ray.
Good morning, John. How are you?
Well, I left my notebook at home, so I don't know what we're going to talk about for the next 4 hours.
All right. We'll do it live.
I was so, like Bill O'Reilly, don't write it. We'll do it live. I was so worried about getting out of the house this morning because on Thursdays I have to drive my daughter and drop her off at my in-laws in Delaware County and then make it here. And with the rain, you know what happens when you have to travel on the highway on the rain. I already have a pretty brutal drive. It makes it 10 times worse. So this morning I got to get out of the house early, so I left 45 minutes earlier than I normally do. And in leaving, I left my notebook at home, my yellow notebook, spiral-bound notebook.
With all the answers to all the world's problems.
With lots of notes. I get up early and I take notes and I write stuff down or whatever. So I've had to cram. If you're watching on YouTube, good morning. I have to cram on just regular. I don't even have a notebook. Regular paper. I had to put this.
Just the scraps of what's left outside.
Yeah. So I mean, what are we going to talk about? I'm just kidding because I already knew what we were going to talk about, and it's going to be a lot. If you didn't, you may have heard. You probably have heard, but. A couple of icons in Philadelphia radio passed away yesterday. Harry Donahue, for many years, was your morning voice on KYW News Radio and also a play-by-play giant at Temple. I'm sure Ray learned a lot from Harry.
Yeah,
he passed away yesterday, a legend. And then Pierre Robert of our sister station, WMMR, we got off the air yesterday, and Jim Antez, who is our kind of our number two guy around here as far as the entire cluster, he said, "Hey, performance area, we have to make an announcement." And it was clear that it was something that wasn't a good announcement. So I'm like, "All right, what is this?" So we went down there, and they had announced to us that Pierre had passed away. So Pierre Robert, who for 40 plus years was the heart and soul of WMMR. You know what WMMR stands for, Ray?
What does it stand for?
Well, so the W is just what you need, but it means more rock.
Huh.
WMMR. So, I remember my parents listening to Pierre growing up. So, Nick McElwain, I didn't get to talk to Nick because he was on the air, but the Preston and Steve show, I asked Chuck D'Amico, the program director of MMR, I said, can you have Nick walk down, whenever he wants to? 11 o'clock hour would be great. So, I think Nick's going to join us to talk a little bit about Pierre because Nick was his producer for a couple of years before he went to Preston and Steve. So, so like a strange day yesterday hearing that, like, wow, this is unbelievable. So we'll talk a little bit about Pierre and just how much he meant to people in Philadelphia and people that listen to the radio and the people, everybody at MMR, both present and past. I saw people down there this morning that came in and that I haven't seen in 10 or 15 years that used to work at MMR that I know from my old days here. So it was good to see them, but wish it was for a different reason. So we'll talk about that. We kind of, I don't know if we stumbled into this yesterday, Ray, but Jalen Hurts, I had it written down. Oh, it was because Acho and LaShawn McCoy were arguing about him being an MVP or not. And I didn't really, what were they even saying about the MVP conversation? Was Shady saying he's not? And Acho was saying he is?
Shady was saying he's not. That he's not the best player on his offense. How could he be the MVP if he's not the best player on his offense? Acho was saying he's played as the best player on his offense this year so far. Right. How could you not give credit to an MVP when the team is 6-2?
Yeah, I mean, he's got to be considered, right? If the Eagles finish the season 12-5 or 13-4, and he puts up numbers that he's continuing to put up, I don't know how he wouldn't. But here's my. It's almost a rhetorical question, but I'm curious what locally we say here. Text line 610-632-0975. Feedback at the end of the show, 975 feedback at 975thefanatic.com. Email us. Just tell us your name and your location. On the text as well if you want to be in feedback. But why isn't Jalen Hurts given more respect? Locally and nationally. Why? I can lump myself into, not that I don't give him respect, because I always, Dave Dombrowski, when he talked about Bryce Harper, he was doing I don't know if he's elite, only Bryce needs that. What he needed to do at the end of talking about that was then show confidence and say, Bryce has done this many times. He can say those other things as long as he ends it with, Bryce, I have a lot of confidence in him. He's going to be whatever, right? But you got to end it with showing at least a little bit of confidence in the player. So with Jalen Hurts, I react after games, even where they win. And I can remember earlier this season, I had said after one of the games, it's like, damn, when I watch him, I just wish he had a better arm, or I wish he was a better pure passer, or I wish the ball just doesn't get to the receiver fast enough. And then you kind of catch yourself and say, but he's shown that when the red light's on and the lights are the brightest and you need a drive, all this dude does is win. And you can't name many quarterbacks that you'd rather have with the ball in his hands to end a game in the Super Bowl than Jalen Hurts. He hasn't done it once. He's done it twice. And if they get the ball back in the first Super Bowl against the Chiefs, they win that Super Bowl. And you can never be positive about it because it didn't happen. But I have a lot of confidence that given the ball back with enough time, they find a way to get down there and get the score that they needed to win. But this season so far, nationally is a different conversation that we can speculate on. Locally, as Eagles fans, I still don't sense a lot of respect. I don't. 70.2% completion percentage, 1,677 passing yards. That averages out to 209 yards per game, 15 touchdowns and 1 interception. There's also the rushing aspect of Jalen Hurts, which he really hasn't done a lot this year. 207 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns. So total touchdowns, and Ray will allow it for this conversation, 20 touchdowns and just 2 turnovers. 1 interception, 1 lost fumble, 20 total touchdowns. I'd say that's pretty damn good. They're 6-2, and this isn't coming off of, well, they lost in the NFC Championship game last year. They lost in the divisional round last year. It was after 2023, after what happened in 2023, I think anything last year was fair. But after being the Super Bowl MVP and quarterbacking this team to the best season in Philadelphia sports history, certainly Eagles history, in Philadelphia sports history, I even catch myself not giving him the benefit of the doubt. But I just don't understand why locally Eagles fans still want to give we had a caller yesterday that called in and said, yeah, I know they're 6-2 and I know he won the Super Bowl, but yeah, come on, he's not the MVP. You can't say he's the MVP. Ray, can you say he's the MVP?
No, not yet for this season.
Okay, should he be strongly considered to be the MVP?
Yeah, you could say he's in the contention for it. I think yesterday I said he's somewhere in that 5 to 7 range. And I think that's perfectly reasonable for a quarterback that's probably on an uneven first 8 games, but it's on a team that's 6-2. That's, I think, the nature of where he's at as compared to everyone else throughout this season. Locally, I don't understand why people don't give him the respect. This city begged for a quarterback with winning DNA for...
That sounds like a DNA thing.
So long.
Forever.
And you got one. It doesn't quite look maybe like you envisioned it, but it's still a quarterback with a winning DNA. And, I'm sorry that he runs for the first down instead of placing it between 2 defenders in his own. I'm sorry that it's off schedule and he's actually rolling out to his right instead of taking a 3-step drop and just firing it in between 2 defenders. It might not be when you say this is how quarterback position should be played in the NFL. It might not be that way for you, but he gets the job done for you week in and week out. And this is that always will confuse me how we come to this realization or come to this conclusion, some of this fan base with him. I just don't like it. I just don't see it. It's what more do you need to see? What more do you want from this guy?
For me personally, I didn't think Jalen Hurts, the year before they went to the Super Bowl, the first Super Bowl, I didn't think Jalen Hurts was a good enough passer to be a difference maker. I didn't think that he was going to be able to throw the ball in the Super Bowl like he did against Pat Mahomes twice. I just didn't think he would reach a spot. He's a very good player. He's captain intangible, but he would reach a certain point where he wouldn't be able to get over the hump. And I was wrong. And he doesn't do it like a lot of national people wish he would do it. If he dropped back and threw the ball 50 times a game and they went 11-6 and lost in the playoffs, I feel like more people would have respect for him. Seriously. If he lost more but threw the ball better, he would have more national respect than he gets right now. He would. because people don't respect the wins. And I just don't know nationally when he gets that respect. 2 Super Bowls? Does he need to win a second one? How many players go to two Super Bowls in 3 years and would have been the MVP twice? I say this all the time. He should be applauded for not having an ego that makes it all about himself throwing the football. That where he's like, whatever it does to win. And he firmly believes that. 610-632-0975. Jalen Hurts, after the game on Sunday, said the best is yet to come. What does that look like for this offense and for Jalen Hurts, the passer? We'll play that for you. And you as an Eagle fan, and I'm even admitting it, I catch myself sometimes wishing I had something different. When this guy, all he does is win. 610-632-0975. Why doesn't he get the respect he may deserve? Phone calls next. Text next. Don't go anywhere. Middays with Marks, 97.5 The Fanatic.
So we're coming back dry here. How are you, John?
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Middays with Marks on 97.5 The Fanatic. Yeah, the seat went up by itself, I think, because now
Is that it?
I'm in the high chair again, yeah, and it won't go down. What the hell? All right, by the way, thank you to Philly Pretzel Factory, who dropped off a nice big tray of their, not the pretzels, but the pretzel bites, or what are they called? The little ones. And they are, they're in the perfect, because, pretzels, you want them fresh. I like them when they're sweaty. Sweaty pretzels. With sweat, and the salt's is a little bit soft and runny. Delicious. So shout out to Philly Pretzel Factory for dropping them off. Got a couple during the break right there. All right. Eagles on the bye week. And even after, you think about it. There's media in this town, and it was stupid and silly and fake, but they didn't they didn't have Jalen Hurts in the Philadelphia Sports Top 10 list, which is ridiculous, and that's toxic behavior. And again, it's dumb, and it's disingenuous, but still, why people feel comfortable doing that to a quarterback that won a Super Bowl and was to another Super Bowl. Ray, I grew up in a time, I'm not a spoiled brat like you. I grew up in a time where, as a kid, it's like, oh, the Eagles, I love the Eagles. They're going to win the Super Bowl. Buddy Ryan, Reggie White, Randall Cunningham. And then Buddy doesn't even win a playoff game. And then Rich Kotite comes in, and he did win a playoff game. But it's just like, and then free agency happened, and Norman Brayman, the Eagles owner, said, oh, like free agency starting in the NFL? I'm not signing Reggie White. Are you kidding me? I'm not going to pay that kind of contract for Reggie White, only the second best defensive player ever. And then everybody from a very, very talented team left. Seth Joyner, Keith Jackson, Reggie White, Randall was stuck around, but then, like he was out of his prime, at least here. And then it was like, they're not going to win. And then Randy Reid came in and certainly had a nice run with the Eagles, but didn't win a Super Bowl. I never thought the Eagles were going to win a Super Bowl, ever. When the Saints won in 2009, was it? I remember thinking, oh, you got to be kidding me. The Saints are winning a Super Bowl, and I can't get a Super Bowl as an Eagle fan. So I thought as Eagles fans, we took it wasn't even a spoken oath that if the Eagles ever win a Super Bowl, we're not going to react like we normally do. So then they won a Super Bowl, and I'm not talking about booing the team on banner night, because I was down with that. They played like crap in the first half. But to appreciate the great players of this team. And Jalen Hurts is a great player. He is. He's a great player. Like I said in the opening segment, sometimes I catch myself wanting more, wanting a better thrower, wishing that he had more velocity on some of the passes, wishing that he would throw to spots and was a rhythm passer or whatever. All this dude done is won Super Bowl, MVP, and are these stats? Do the stats look better than he's played? Okay, maybe, but also the last 2 weeks, which were both wins. He's put up big numbers. So when you're piling stats in 2 games, okay, what do you think players do? You pile stats. So it doesn't mean that you take that away. It's like, oh, well, yeah, he had how many touchdowns the last 2 weeks? 7 passing touchdowns the last 2 weeks, something like that. Yeah. So, but so what? They smoked the Giants. They got the win before that. I wish we would take a step back and just say, you know what? Like, yeah. Jalen Hurts is exactly what we've been waiting for. How's the text line reacting to this?
Well, immediately you give some praise and you got to get some criticism back. Marshall from Florida, Hurts' only really problem is, and always has been, that he holds on to the ball too long. My opinion on this is because he either can't read a defense or is too scared to throw the interception.
Yeah. Can't reading the defense. I know, and I've said this, that he's kind of a one-read quarterback. If that one read isn't there, then he kind of loses focus on what he's doing. But you know what I've noticed the last 2 weeks? When he's well protected, he seems to find guys down the field. If he's not worried about the rush and his feet he's not all over the place, he can read the defense. He can find guys. He's never going to be, you're never going to confuse him with some of the great passers. But let me ask you this. Josh Allen, I love Josh Allen. He's an amazing talent. The throws he makes, the running ability, he runs guys over and everything else, right? Like Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, 1 drive, 10 the game. You may say Josh Allen, and I'm fine with that, but I mean, that's just your preference. It doesn't mean that Josh Allen has done that. That Josh Allen going head-to-head. How many times do they have to lose to Kansas City? And I know in the one game, you just gave Pat Mahomes 20 seconds and it was too much time and you lost. That sounds a great player. You have a lot of great quarterbacks in the NFL. But Jalen Hurts is just doing it differently than a lot of other teams do or a lot of other quarterbacks do. And 20 touchdowns and 2 turnovers is nuts. It's nuts. He's the 10th most likely MVP candidate, at least from a betting standpoint on the BetParks app. 10th. And in 3-4 weeks, if he keeps putting up numbers, he'll be 3rd or 4th, something like that. I don't ever think that he will get the benefit of the doubt over the Mahomes and over some of the better passing quarterbacks in the NFL than they would right now. So, hey, maybe it's more nationally than locally, but I hear it, and normally it's reserved for after games where he doesn't play well. And I mean, we had the Tanner McKee. People were saying Tanner McKee, like even I said it, like don't let Tanner McKee come into a game. AJ Brown will be doing backflips with how he throws the ball, and he's a rhythm passer. So,
which is still nuts. All due respect to Tanner McKee.
Of course, it's nuts. But we love the backup quarterback.
Yeah, of course we do. Don't let Sam Howell get into the game.
All right. So how about this? What a lot of people say is that if you put X quarterback on the Eagles, you would win. It's a product of the Eagles more than it's a product of the quarterback. Which there's something there to it, but that's what happens when you have a great roster. Doesn't mean that you're winning the Super Bowl. It may mean that you're winning some regular season games. Lamar Jackson's a great player. He's a great regular season player. What happens in the playoffs? Every year.
I mean, part of it's him. Part of it, I've said this before to you. I think that a lot of the times the Ravens get into these big games and they abandon what they are. And, like, they all of a sudden become, we're going to air it out with Lamar Jackson instead of just doing what got them where they were.
I think it was 2 years ago, Spags, might have been last year, Spags in the, would have been an AFC Championship game? I don't know. But Spags said, hey, Lamar, here's how we're going to defend you. We're not giving you any intermediate passing routes. And we're not going to let you run all over the place. So if you're going to beat us, you're going to beat us deep. And they don't have the best receivers in the league, right? But they had no answer for it. So he's getting schemed. And you put it on the coaches, too. It's not just Lamar. But, I mean, the bottom line is that the dude has proven that he can win. 610-632-0975. We didn't play the Jalen Hurts sound because we came back a little out of whack. But we'll have it for you. While we're talking about the benefit of the doubt, how much longer does this offense have to keep producing like they did the last 2 weeks to get the benefit of the doubt? I mean, to me, they have the benefit of the doubt right now. We'll talk about that coming up next. Middays with Marks on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Eagles trade a receiver. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. No, it's not that receiver. The Eagles traded John Mechie and a 2027 6th-round pick yesterday to the New York Jets for quarterback Michael Carter and a 2027 7th-round pick. Carter has played primarily in the slot, pushed the question of whether the Eagles would kick DeJean to the outside corner spot. Vic Fangio earlier this week was asked about moving DeJean to the outside.
We considered it, yeah. But, when you have one of the better players at a certain position, and it's an important position where you get involved more, you hate to take a really good player at one position to maybe not be as good a player or impactful of a player at another.
The Eagles 6-2 at the bye and will be playing the Packers coming out of the bye. NFL trade deadline coming up next Tuesday. As for the 76ers, they're back in action tomorrow night at home against the Celtics to begin NBA Cup play. They sit at 4-0 on the season. This update is brought to you by AutoZone. Get in the zone. It's time to say goodnight to that check engine light with free AutoZone Fix Finder service. They'll help troubleshoot the likely cause of your light for free. Restrictions apply. Get in the zone. AutoZone. I'm Ray Dunn on the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5 TheFanatic.com.
right, we're back. Middays with Marks on a rainy, soggy Thursday morning. I hate the rain. Hate driving in it. My poor wife has a field trip today with my daughter to the zoo. Rain or shine.
Oh.
So when it's rain or shine like this, it doesn't matter. They should cancel it. If it's pouring rain.
It was raining sideways.
Yes.
Like a half hour ago.
Yeah, so she had to get on a school bus and go to the Elmwood Park Zoo. At least didn't have to drive into the city. I had to go to the Elmwood Park Zoo with my daughter, and she's chaperoning. So she, probably has like 8 kids that she's responsible for. In
That's
the rain.
horrible.
It is horrible. So better her than me, I suppose. But it's raining, it's pouring. Jalen Hurts is not snoring. Can we hear the Jalen Hurts cut that we talked about last before we came back and we had problems? All right, so Jalen Hurts is what's he talking about here?
Just real quick, it was him after the game talking about how there's more to improve, but he's got more to come.
I definitely got a lot of work to do. Yeah, I think the best is yet to come.
Self-explanatory from him.
Ah, man, he is he's something else, Jalen Hurts. All right, so I mean, if you're looking at this team right now, like, and this is honestly, this is where if you're trying to push Eagles conversation this week, it's kind of difficult because you have a good win going into the bye. They beat the Giants like they should have beaten the Giants. The offenses look good the last 2 weeks. The passing offenses look good the last 2 weeks. People don't want to hear that A.J. Brown doesn't want to be here anymore. They just want to dismiss it and say it's not really what it is. So really, aren't the Eagles on track right now? Aren't they on track to do what everybody wants them to do, which is to win another Super Bowl? It is not easy coming back from winning a Super Bowl, losing players, having injuries. You think about that. They lost Josh Sweat, Milton Williams, Darius Slay, 3 major pieces off of your defense, and then you've been unable to stay healthy on the offensive line. And Saquon Barkley hasn't been able to be the same player. So now you're having to win games in a different manner than you were able to win last year. And they're still 6-2. And then into the bye week. So, I mean, listen, the Packers, the Lions, the Eagles, you'll probably people still like to throw the Bucs out there. The Bucs aren't winning squat this year.
Why not?
They're the 3 teams. They're not good enough.
Why not?
You watched them play the last 2 weeks?
Did you watch the Eagles play the 2 weeks of the Giants and the Broncos?
You know what else I watched? The Eagles win the Super Bowl last year and go to a Super Bowl 2 years before that.
Okay.
That's the benefit of the doubt. Why do the Bucs deserve the benefit of the doubt? They're a playoff team.
Yeah, well, it's not that they deserve the benefit of the doubt, but they have the opportunity to do it. If you went into 2022 saying you think the Eagles go to the Super Bowl, we probably all would have called you crazy. And they went and played for the Super Bowl.
Okay. All right, Bucs fan.
I'm just saying, it's a good team. They got talent on defense. Baker Mayfield's having a good year.
Rank your NFC teams right now.
I would go Eagles because they get the benefit of the doubt. Pack, Lions, Bucks.
So I go Lions, Eagles, Packers. Who else are we considering here? Rams, 4.
Oh, Rams could be in there.
Yeah, the Rams are. I don't. Maybe I'm not giving the Bucs enough credit, and they are banged up. Their wide receivers are hurt. They have a lot of injuries right now. The Bucs don't. Would the Bucs scare me in playing them in the playoffs? Yeah, of course, they would. Down there, if you're unfortunate, I don't think they're going to have a. I guess they could have a. You have the tiebreaker over them, so they would have to have one more win than you. But Lions, Eagles, Packers, Rams, Bucks are the top 5 teams in the NFC right now. And then the AFC, I'll worry about the AFC later. It looks like the Chiefs are going to end up being the best team in the AFC when it's all said and done right there. So, I mean, really, it's kind of you said the Eagles because they won last year, and that's fine. But we're right on schedule with the Eagles. Right on schedule. It's a matter of can they keep it together. And we'll talk to James Palmer, noted NFL insider, who's been joining us every week now on Thursdays. He had, right after the trade they made, Michael Carter isn't going to be playing on the outside. That's not what the Eagles are thinking right now. But he's had insights on A.J. Brown and things like that. I mean, the hope has to be that they can keep it together and A.J. can keep it together to where if the only thing he's doing is tweeting stuff out or Instagramming posts every couple of weeks, I guess is that a best case scenario? I don't know if that's changing. I don't think AJ's magically going to become happier and say, you know what? I actually do love playing for the Eagles with Jalen Hurts.
Sign him up for Blue Sky. No one will see it. You could just have him put all of his messages out there. We'll be fine.
Are you on Blue Sky?
No. I might have an account because there was like that moment. I've had like 6 or 7 like, oh my gosh, Twitter's gonna go down thing, and then Twitter just stays, and then I just keep going. I can't build another app. Like I can't.
Oh no, I tried like TikTok. I'm like, yeah, I'll post content on TikTok. I just can't.
I'm just a scroller on TikTok.
I don't go. I have no interest in.
It's terrible. The reason why you get this show sheet from me at like 12:30 is because I sat down to do it and then I got distracted on TikTok for 45 minutes.
What are you watching?
Anything, whatever the algorithm feeds me, man.
And what's your algorithm right now?
Right now,
big booty?
No, I'm not on that. You know, let's relax here.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Calm down.
God forbid you look at one account comes along. Next thing you know, it's like, hang on, why do I have all these accounts that are coming up?
There's a lot of attractive women that are funny that pop up, but it's not just the attractiveness. There's actual talk. It's not I'm just getting the transition where it wipes and there's just an attractive woman in your face.
Oh yeah, because no guys are scrolling looking for hot chicks on Instagram.
Well, no, but it's the algorithm. I don't do the search. I get whatever's fed to me. That hasn't. Right now, it's a lot of stand-up comedy.
Really?
Yeah, it's a lot. Oh, I love.
You like stand-up comedy?
Yes.
Really?
If I were to do something where I would talk about something else, and like I would have comedians on all the time.
Do you want to be a stand-up comedian?
I'm not funny enough.
Yeah, but you're smart. You can figure it out.
Yeah, I guess.
You have a dry delivery sense of humor.
But then you think about just all the work you got to go. Like then I got to go start going to underground clubs. I got to first get like the idea of the silence that would hit. When I make a joke that doesn't hit here, really you're just the audience I can see collapsing within itself. I can't see the person at home rolling their eyes. Think about me up on that stage when I do like the first like 10, 15 stand-up like bits and they all tank. It would be disastrous.
We got to get into this later because I opened for Big Daddy Graham.
Really?
Yes. In a jam-packed, big auditorium. Very intimidating. And I only needed to do a couple of minutes. This isn't what you're talking about because I'd be terrified to do it.
Oh, I would only get you only get a couple minutes off the jump here.
I have a picture. I'll show you during the break. I have a picture that is unbelievable. And Big Daddy and Joe Conklin asked me to do it, and I was intimidated to where I wanted to say no. But I didn't. I did it. And I'm so glad I did because it was something. It was. I'm not. You know what? I think if I practiced enough and I, like you had said, have to be 100% committed and going to open mic nights and doing everything. Like Soul Joe's up in Pottstown.
Yes.
Amazing club to see comedy, but they have open mic nights where they do a lot of different stuff where if you want to go up there and learn, you can do it.
I've been told a few times to just, why not? Go. I can't. I don't know. My friend and I agreed we'd do it both like the same time together. He went and did it in Nashville at an open mic night. Didn't tell me till it was afterwards.
Stand-up comedian Ray for a day. Now you're going to have to do it. It's another bit. Stand-up Ray for a day. Coming up, James Palmer, Bleacher Report, Athletic Podcast. He's all over the place. His thoughts. He's got the latest on the trade the Eagles made yesterday. We'll talk about that. And the trade deadline is coming up. Is he hearing any whispers the Eagles could be active at the trade deadline? James Palmer next. Don't go anywhere.
Unfiltered with Ricky Bo, Bill.
All right, we're back. It is Middays with Marks. 97.5 The Fanatic as the trade deadline on Tuesday. But they made a trade yesterday. To discuss that and the latest with everything across the NFL and the Eagles is James Palmer, co-host Scoop City, Athletic, NFL insider for the Bleacher Report, like co-hosting with Steve Smith, the 89 podcast as well. He's an NFL insider, long time, and he's a local dude. And he joins us right now. What is going on? James, how are you?
I'm wonderful. Got the parents, sadly the Phillies season is over, so the old man can come out here and hang out for my son's birthday. So the family from Philly's out here. It's everything's good right now, and I'm working my butt off before Tuesday.
What did you think?
So I'll try to see them.
What did you think of, as a Phillies fan and from a media perspective, what did you think of Dave Dombrowski, the comments that he made at the press conference at the end of the season, and then Bryce spoke this weekend?
Yeah, it was a little jarring for me, honestly. It was. I mean, when you say it about a player that holds himself at such a high standard, I don't know if it's necessary, right? And I think because Bryce knows the way that he's played and knows that this has happened multiple times in the postseason, the way that they've swung the bats, and I think nobody puts more pressure on themselves than he does. So I don't know if it's necessary at times with certain players. So that's why it kind of shocked me a little bit. Seeing it, and I wasn't surprised though by Bryce responding. If any of us know the way Bryce is wired.
Yeah, we'll move on to the Eagles in a second. I think it was a mistake for Bryce to say anything, and it did upset him. And I like Bryce a lot, and I support him, but just seeing the reaction of some Phillies fans, which is like, how about you just come out and you take responsibility because you again this year in the playoffs you didn't perform and the team lost, instead of being upset because the GM had some comments. Whether that's right or wrong, that's what I'm hearing a lot of Phillies fans are saying right now.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, there's a lot of frustration. I'm a Phillies fan. I'm still frustrated. Right?
Yep.
So I get the fans' perspective for sure. I would spin it into the NFL a little bit. I know this is apples and oranges and it's different. But I really think the whole sports world should make sure they pay attention to what Justin Fields had to say Sunday after the game, and the humanization a little bit of some of these guys. I know they're millionaires. I know they make a lot of money. I know that they're famous. I know that they have a lot of wonderful aspects of what they do. I think that was a great example of when certain people in your organization come out and say things about you when it's your owner of your team, or like blaming the entire issues with the Jets on just you. The entire issue of the Jets, that's a great sentence, on just you. You saw what it did to Justin Fields. And so I do think there's that aspect of it as well that I think oftentimes, even myself as a fan, we sometimes forget.
All right, Eagles make a trade yesterday. They get the corner help that they need. They trade John Mechie, who was barely playing for the Eagles. Michael Carter II, immediately I see everybody say, oh, well, they're going to move Cooper DeJean outside corner. He's going to be your starting slot. I saw you tweet out pretty quickly. That is not my understanding. So why are they trading for Michael Carter, and where do you see him playing?
Yeah, he does play in the slot. I mean, that's what he does. That's what he's done for his career. And so I see this move, from my understanding, being they wanted more depth in their secondary. They wanted to be more versatile in their secondary. I think they have a very, I know Vic for a long time and the coaches that are on that side of the ball, and I think they want to be able to move some pieces around. They want to be able to defend and show some different looks. I'm not saying Cooper doesn't move outside at any point. It might be because of necessity, though, in terms of what they have. And I don't think they want to move him outside, to my understanding. I think they know how talented he is from playing on the interior. When they tested him out there during camp, it was kind of like, we don't think he's a boundary corner. We think, honestly, the Eagles think his future is a safety down the road and make a boatload of cash probably playing safety down the road. But when you look at your other options, are you pushed into that? They were pushed into it during camp a little bit, and I don't know if they loved it, because then you're just getting weaker somewhere else. You're losing the instincts, the spatial awareness, all the things that made them believe, in terms of a football player, he might be the best corner in that draft, and that's why they picked him. And you don't want to take those out of your defense. And I think that's the reason why My understanding is they still don't want to move him outside. I think this was essentially a depth piece because at the same time, he was going to be a cap casualty, Michael Carter. Like he was going to be probably gone after the season. And they got something back in return for him, and the Eagles get a chance to be, get a guy that's played and a chance to be a little bit deeper and versatile in the secondary.
So it's still a combination of really who kind of takes the job from here, from the guys on the outside before, between Ringo and Bennett and who am I blanking on right now? That's the other corner. But yeah, so I mean, all right. So trade deadline's coming up.
Adoree Jackson.
Yes, Adoree Jackson. Trade deadline's coming up.
I think that's the case. Yeah.
Okay. Trade deadline's coming up. I know a lot of fans are the Eagles are definitely going to get an edge rusher. Could they get Hendrickson from the Bengals? Do you see the Eagles being active, and do you see them perhaps making the big splash move?
They're not done. I don't think they're done. I don't think the BG move stopped them from doing anything at the edge. I know you guys have probably talked about it a lot, but from what I just to put my 2 cents into it, what I was told is, I was at that game at SoFi when he went down with the injury, and talking to coaches that I know were like, he's probably playing like our best edge rusher. Like really, I mean, I know it's a limited snaps, but he still was playing like our best edge rusher when he went down. So I think he adds something up front, but him coming back, to my understanding, has nothing to do with like decreasing the aggressiveness that Howie has going after an edge. I know there's plenty of people on that staff that really want some more help coming to that defensive side of the ball. So I wouldn't be surprised if another move happened with Howie. I know that he's also not alone in terms of being aggressive towards the edge spot. I know San Fran's looking at the edge. I know that Indy's probably still, maybe they're in a really good spot right now, but I think they'd like to maybe make an addition at the edge. And there's some guys that are available, and there's some guys that are available that have had histories with Vic, and I think that plays a part in this as well, specifically the guys down there in Miami. I'm just wondering if there's enough people that are interested in edge players that it drives the price up a little bit for some of these teams that are selling. And so we'll see how it plays out. I would say Howie being on a bye during the deadline is a terrifying thing because you might have to make him sit on his hands a little bit, because I think he's making maybe more calls than anybody right now about what he wants to do before Tuesday.
So an NFL GM sees the phones ring and picks up the phone, and Howie Roseman pops up on the screen making a phone call. What is the GM thinking at that point? Like you said, he's on a bye week. Uh-oh.
Yeah. Howie's calling on everything, and to me, honestly, I talk to a lot of people. I think that's the sign of a great general manager. Like, I don't know if Denver needs a whole lot, but George Payton's under the same kind of vein, calling on everybody. There's a very few, and I don't know if people know this. Like, there is such a small group of players in this league that do not have a price tag. Everybody has a price. Everybody has a price that could make them be moved. And there's a very, very handful group of guys that are not that. So Howie will always listen. If you call him, I think he'll almost listen to anybody borderline within that locker room. And so when he calls, I know that every other GM always knows Howie has to, when we do a deal, he's going to have to feel like he won. He's going to have to feel like he got the best of me. And he's always going to fight and claw for, every little part of that trade and negotiation. I do think every GM has their strengths. I think that's Howie's strength, the negotiating side of it, the business side of it, the numbers side of it. Some guys are much more scout-based, like a Jason Light down in Tampa Bay. But Howie, in those aspects, is outstanding. And so he knows how to put the pieces together. And I think, right now he's making all those calls, and he's trying to finagle what he can. And there's some options out there. We're going to see. It's not going. If nothing happens, it's not going to be due to a lack of effort. I'll say that.
James Palmer TV. That's how you follow him on Twitter. Bleacher Report Insider. A number of podcasts with the Athletic. Trey Hendrickson. Do you expect him to be moved? He's got 1 year left. He's got another year on his contract. The Bengals are more or less out of it at this point, or at least that's kind of the feel. Is he getting moved? And if he's getting moved, is Howie calling on him?
Yeah, I think everybody's been interested. I mentioned teams interested in edge rushers. San Fran's definitely that. They've called on Hendrickson, and they've been kind of rebuffed to my understanding. And you mentioned kind of out of it. I think 8 and 9 might win that division, honestly. I don't know if they're fully out of it. I mean, the Jets' loss was atrocious for them. But they do think Burrow's coming back. From my understanding, that the rehab's going really, really well, that he could be back mid-December. I do think, though, because injuries oftentimes drive this, Joe Flacco's dealing with an AC joint sprain in that throwing shoulder. If he ends up missing some time and they have to go back to Jake Browning, if they get some sort of timetable on it before Tuesday, does that force them to go, this is a lost season, Trey Hendrickson's not a part of our future in 2026, let's do something? The thing that complicates this, man, is like everybody in the league is like, I don't know how Cincinnati does business. Like, I can't figure them out. They don't make deals in the middle of the season very often. This Joe Flacco thing was a very rare move for Cincinnati. They just do things a little bit different. This would be out of context for them because they know they have this small window with Joe Burrow. Like, they know they have a small window with Joe Burrow, but they already botched this negotiation with Trey Hendrickson once before. And he's going to have to get paid, though, if he goes somewhere else. So I do think that will be part of it as well, is you're going to probably have to get a deal done for him to go to come to Philly or go wherever, because he has this 1-year deal and he's done.
All right, make this a quick one because I'm up against it. I know you are too. AJ Brown, Adam Schefter puts out, like, the headline is, the Eagles aren't trading AJ Brown. The third paragraph said they'd be willing to listen to any offer, but sources believe Philadelphia would not be willing to part with Brown for anything less than a blockbuster offer. So in saying that they're not going to trade him, he actually said, if you give me a call and make an offer, and if it's a blockbuster, I'll do it. I don't think it's likely, but I thought it was interesting that that's the way that it was portrayed.
I think that's accurate. I don't put AJ in that group of players that cannot be traded, like I mentioned earlier. I think everybody has a price. If Howie's going to get blown away, he's going to do the deal. If somebody comes along with something that he never thought he was going to be able to get, I wouldn't be surprised if he entertained it. And I know they're trying to repeat. I'll say this real quick. I know they're trying to repeat, and obviously having one of the best receivers in football helps you do that. You could maybe do this at the end of the season as well. The picks are still there. You know what I mean? The picks to be had in the trade would still be there. But he's not part of that group that is untradeable in the NFL. I'll say that.
Yeah, I agree. Much more likely in the offseason, but it'll be curious to see how this all plays out. James, appreciate it, man. We'll talk to you.
Sounds good.
All right, there he is. James Palmer, NFL Insider. We'll come back. Peter Schrager said Trey Hendrickson's someone that could be moved. We'll talk about that as well. Some Phillies conversation in 11 o'clock hour as well. Middays with Marks, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Eagles trade a receiver. I'm Ray done with this Fanatic Sports Update. No, it's not that receiver. The Eagles trade John Mechie in a 2027 6th-round pick to the New York Jets for cornerback Michael Carter and a 2027 7th-round pick. Carter has played primarily in the slot, which pushed the question of whether or not the Eagles would kick DeJean outside. You just heard James Palmer breaking down why that wouldn't be the case. Vic Fangio was asked earlier this week about the potential of moving Cooper DeJean outside.
We considered it, yeah, but when you have one of the better players at a certain position, and it's an important position where you get involved more, you hate to take a really good player at one position to another position.
Eagles 6-2 at the bye. The deadline for the NFL trade deadline is Tuesday, November 4th. Elsewhere in Philadelphia sports tonight, the Flyers host the Predators at 7 o'clock, looking to win their third in a row as they continue their homestand. And tomorrow night, the 76ers at home hosting the Celtics in their first game of NBA Cup play. This update is brought to you by Aleve. Traffic and body pain can slow you down, but don't let the pain stop you. With just one pill, Aleve provides up to 12 hours of pain relief so you keep moving. Use as directed. I'm Ray Dunn in the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
viable option to be traded based on what you see on paper. This is a guy who's making reasonable money. He's in the final year of a contract. He's already been unhappy.
All right, that's Peter Schrager on ESPN. I do not believe the Eagles will be making a trade for Hendrickson. And I thought James Palmer, his reaction was exactly why. No one knows what to expect from the Bengals because they run their organization unlike any other team in the league. You really just don't know. And they have botched the negotiations. But he's still a good player, but if he needs a new contract, are the Eagles ready to pay an early guy in his early 30s, $40 million a year? Part of the problem, like the Bengals don't want to pay him that. Will another team be willing to pay it? I don't know if it's a wise decision by the Eagles to pay him, $100 million guaranteed.
Well, if they trade for him mid-season, are you getting that? Are you trading for him with the contract being done, or are you just trading for him for the rest of the season? He's going to hit the open market and make his money.
Well, he's under contract for another year. It doesn't mean he's going to be happy if you sign him and you're not extending him. The whole problem with this year. Yeah, but you say,
Unhappy guys in this locker room, what's new?
Yeah, what could possibly go wrong? Well, but to your point, it really is in the NFL. Guys are unhappy with their contracts all the time. It's not really something that players and coaches and GMs aren't. Eagles have been pretty fortunate because they've paid everybody. They've been smart, but still, like the contract stuff comes up. I just don't know if you want to trade a major asset. Like, what are you trading? A third and a player, or a second that could be a first? I'm not doing that.
Well, I don't know what the conditions would be to go second to first, but if the second to first is conditional on the success he has on your team and he helps lead you, I'm willing to burn a little bit of the future on this, especially because I think this defense is so young, and if you believe in them growing and them ending up taking care of their own, I'm not worried about what I'm going to pay Trey Hendrickson down the line because I'm not paying him. I'm going to end up paying those guys, but he's the immediate impact you need.
So Carter's in what year? What year's Carter of his contract? This is his third?
Yeah, extension's coming this offseason.
So he's in his third, which means even when you extend him, he's still making first-round money in the fourth year and the fifth year. So that's controllable. You're just tacking on guaranteed money and then the years at the end of that. So
right.
So you can have the cap hit, and he's not making a ton of money in those years. So Nolan Smith's the same thing because he was the same draft. So you do have a little bit of a window where you could afford, and the Eagles are paying everybody anyway, so it's not like they don't spend a ton of cash. But if you were able to say, listen, Trey, we're not giving you $100 million guaranteed. We'll give you 2 years and $70 million on top of it. Because they really need an edge rusher. They need not only an edge rusher, and they need their best edge rusher. And if you can get that done for less than a first-round draft pick, you're in the window of winning right now.
And at this point, they're done at corner, right? We can all agree. I can't see them putting more assets into corner.
They're done at corner. They're done at corner. It's going to be Ringo, Jackson, and at some point, maybe Cooper DeJean is splitting reps with the outside guy. They're not putting Cooper DeJean out as a full-time outside corner.
This is the break glass in case of emergency trade.
But I also think that there's times during the game where he will play some outside corner, and then maybe that's where you'll see Carter. I think Carter ends up getting a decent amount of snaps, but considering you didn't really pay much for him, it's just in case something happens and you need another corner. This guy's actually started in this league, and he's not old.
Yeah. No, again, I think this is the break glass in case of emergency. It's like, we traded for the slot corner. We don't want to move Cooper DeJean outside. But so help us, if these three guys that we have on the outside, none of them end up figuring it out for us by the end of the season.
Guess who's playing in the playoffs outside corner?
Guess what?
Right. Adoree Jackson may not be playing.
Correct. Adoree Jackson, you enjoy the bench. We're going to have Cooper DeJean outside. And Michael Carter, now you're going to be called upon for a bigger role.
You're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN and WPEN HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group Station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studios, powering possibilities. For feedback, last segment of the program, we have our artificial intelligence voice that reads off the best texts and the best emails that are sent to 975feedback at 975thefanatic.com, or the text line, which is 610-632-0975. Just put feedback, your name and location, so we know where it's coming from. And a question, what would Ray's comedy special be called? Because Ray talked about how he has you would have thought when he goes to sleep at night and he lays his head on the pillow, he's thinking about calling Game 7 of the World Series or being the replacement to Tom McGinnis one day here on 97.5 The Fanatic. That is not true. He wants to be a comedian, a stand-up comedian.
Yeah, I'm thinking about what if instead of at Xfinity Mobile Arena calling that game, you're standing at the center stage and delivering that stand-up special.
Is it Sebastian Maniscalco that packs arenas like that? Bill Burr packs arenas like that. That's crazy to me that they get 18,000 people coming out for those things.
18,000 people think you're funny. And that's in one city.
One city, man.
There's not 18 people in my life that find me funny.
We can get you there, though. So what would Ray's comedy special be called? And we're going to do this. This is something. Put it on the list. Put it on the show sheet, the future show sheet. We're going to do a comedy show, a show comedy show. We'll go to one of the local places, Helium or wherever, maybe even Soul Joe's up there in Pottstown.
I've been trying to get up there for a while. I haven't been able to get, it's not that I, have never been extended the invitation. It's just I've never worked out my schedule where there's someone that I'm dying to see up there.
My buddy Kevin saw Adam Carolla. He actually texted me the night. He's like, hey, I'm going up. Do you want to go? And it's like, dude, I got 10 things going on the night with the kids. So he went up and saw Carolla. He got a picture with him or whatever.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Carolla's awesome. It'd be great. So I'll be the host, and I'll open up, and I'll do a little bit of material. And then you'll come on but we need a headliner to do it, right? You need an actual comedian. But Ray will get a shot at doing a set right there.
Terrifying. Terrifying thought.
All right, and I couldn't find the picture, but I know it was, I believe it was pre-COVID, post-Eagles winning a Super Bowl, because I had Eagles Super Bowl material and the Cowboys. I opened up for Big Daddy and Joe Conklin, and I believe it was at the, what did I say, the Broadway Theater? It's over in New Jersey. Huge venue. It has the lower, and then it has the upper that hangs over. And I have this picture that is an amazing picture that's taken from side stage. It's taken from stage left of me, and I'm talking into the microphone. And I was terrified. What am I going to do? Because if I go up there and it doesn't hit, then what? So they told me just do 5 minutes. Get up there, do 5 minutes, and then I was introducing Joe. And I went up there, not bragging. I did a B+.
A solid 5?
I was getting laughs.
There you go.
Nothing fell flat. I kept it simple. I knew my audience. All right, kept it simple. It was good. Now, I don't think I have the natural ability to do it, right? Just like if I was to do play-by-play, I couldn't do play-by-play. It's just not in me. I couldn't do Sports Center. I would rather drive my car into a brick wall than do Sports Center every day. Stand-up, it would be very difficult to be a stand-up comedian. The timing and the jokes and everything you have to do that goes into it. I'm fascinated by people that are that good at doing it. I really am.
And that's so much with our industry in terms of delivery and pacing and what you do sports talk radio wise. I think that's also why I'm drawn to it with comedy, because what we're doing, you said it yesterday with Jason, it's not just I know more stats than you.
Yeah.
You have to make it engaging. And the fact that a comedian can draw in that crowd and make their own just basic everyday story, life stories, just deliver to a crowd and make it interesting. That makes it interesting to me.
Yeah.
And playing off of a crowd. Their ability, crowd work fascinates me because of how quick-witted you have to be to take a very dry piece of material from someone who's not a part of the show and make them entertaining.
Yeah. The joke can be funny if you don't deliver it properly, it's not funny.
Right.
And it doesn't get the same reaction.
Correct.
At Helium Comedy Club, this is 2004. I went with, it was at my time girlfriend. We went, I had a pair of light blue New Balance sneakers, a pair of jeans, and then this shirt that I still have. I looked like Woody from Toy Story with the shirt. Actually, I was like, should I be Woody for Halloween because I have the shirt? And it's 20 years ago, so the shirt probably felt different to me at the time. The female, and I don't remember her name. She was the lead. It took her a good minute to single me out, and she went after me the whole set. She kept going back to me, and she was giving me this look of, I'm sorry, but you've been voted the guy that I'm going to pick on tonight in the audience. And it was funny, and it was uncomfortable. And I felt like a total idiot. But, because then she even pointed out the shoes, and she's like, you're wearing light blue shoes with that shirt? What is wrong with you? And then she's talking to the girl, being who's that, your brother? Who is that? Why, what? No, it's, she's, no, it's not my brother. So, yeah. It's terrifying. And see that the good ones are so good, and that you don't know that's coming. You don't know that person's going to be in the audience. So now you're looking all right, what else can I do as you're scanning the audiences? Maybe you do it backstage before you go on, or maybe, I don't know. But the art of stand-up comedy is amazing.
Really is.
All right, 610-632-0975. All right, I can't wait to talk about this. This isn't an official backer pack, but Jim Bowden of The Athletic, and I think he does stuff on MLB Network, he's really good when he does this before free agency, where he does the expected contracts for the big free agents. We'll take a look at the projected contract for Phillies free agents, but in particular, Kyle Schwarber. A lot of Phillies fans out there being like, "Oh yeah, I'll give him $3 million, 3 years for $75 million." No. Backer pack, unofficially, Kyle Schwarber and the other Phillies. That's coming up next. Middays with Marks, 97.5, The Fanatic. Oh, there it is. We have to delete this. Did Nate not delete this? First of all, he said he didn't do it.
No, I'll wear this one. I was going to take this one out. So this is on me, not the recording, because the recording is so obviously emails in the background.
Right. Yeah, no, you didn't. I don't send you the bumps to record. I send that to Nate. Maybe did he subcontract it to somebody else?
That's what we got to find out. I'm dying to know who's working
Nate,
for
come in here. Nate, come in. Come in here. Because he denied it last time. He put it up on the screen. He said, I didn't do it. That's fine. I mean, I'm just wondering who did it.
I just want to know who's working for Nate.
Yeah. Does he have some minion that's doing something off-site? So I don't know if there's anybody else out there.
I've been doing middays now for 2 or so years. Oh, come on.
Come on. No, you gotta. You can get on the mic, or you can just say it right there. Yeah, get on the mic. Get right here. So Nate is our associate producer, and he's back there he's wearing 100 different hats, and he's a very hard worker, and he runs marathons too, which is interesting. But so that Electric Relaxation by Tribe Called Quest, you have the email sounder in the background. So that was you. Okay, get the microphone's open. Turn the microphone.
Which mic did he go
hit the right here. I don't know.
I got it. I'll get you up.
Wait, no, so he admitted it, so it's fine. Okay.
Oh, all right. Well, that was very anticlimactic.
Yeah, we thought you were denying it, and we were going to try to figure out who did it. It was him. Okay. All right. Well, there you go. Nate said it was him.
All right. Well, mystery solved.
Yeah.
Stay tuned next time.
And by the way, it happens. And it would happen even with, you wouldn't necessarily realize it while you're recording it, that goes off, because you're not really paying attention to every second.
No.
You're queuing it up, you're starting it, and then you're probably working on something else.
Correct. And if anything, it's my fault that I played a second time.
It is your fault that you played it a second time.
So that's on me.
And I heard it, and I thought, that's not re-recorded, because that would have meant that they would have had to. Yeah.
And we actually got them to record a remix for the show. We were like, Middays with Marks wants a little flair to the bounce back music.
Yeah, I texted Q-Tip myself. And I said, let's do it. All right. So Jim Bowden, expected contracts for a number of MLB free agents, including Kyle Schwarber. Now, my buddy Black Gritty, we've been doing YouTube shows prior to me going to coming back to 97.5 The Fanatic. But we had this running thing where when Schwarber would have a 2-home run game, be like, he's back up to making $200 million. And they would go 3 games. Oh, he's back to $150 million. But Kyle Schwarber, according to Jim Bowden, 5 years, $160 million. And Ray, I've been saying all along when we do the negotiations, and I'm Kyle Schwarber's agent, and you always want to give me 3, and I'm like, no. 3 years you ain't getting. 4 years is possible, but I firmly believe he's getting a 5th year. And that averages out to $32 million a year. 5 years, $160. Dave Dombrowski, what are you saying? I have this offer from another team. If you don't take this, I'm leaving.
All right, now let's take it.
That's what John Middleton's going to do, because really this is a John Middleton / Dave Dombrowski decision.
Right.
They have the money. It takes away from other things that they could do. $32 million a year. Here's why you should, if you're a Phillies fan out there, and you'll hear people say, well, it's not my money. What do you care? The Phillies don't have an unlimited budget. So you should care how much they're paying players, because it means they can't get other players. But the reality of it is 5 years, and I know John and Andrew, the morning show's whole thing was stop paying all these old guys, which is fine. But like in 3 years, when Kyle Schwarber's 4th year, where he's making $32 million a year, it may be really, really bad. All these guys may be old, and the Phillies may be looking to get rid of everybody. Who cares? This is what happens. At the end of a run, this is what happens when you go for it and it doesn't work. Very rarely do you have 10 years of sustained success where you're almost winning it every year, right?
Yeah.
So, what do I care what Kyle Schwarber's looking like in 4 years? Do you know why? Because I would say not most, but a lot of Phillies fans, you know what happens when the team sucks? They stop paying attention. They're not going down to the game. They're not going down to the game as much. It's like, oh, the Phillies suck. I'll pay attention, but I'm not jumping in with two feet, right? I'm watching every Phillies game, whether they're the worst team in the league or the best team in the league. I can't get enough. So if I'm signing off on this, knowing that they're probably going to suck in 4 years, and you're giving Kyle Schwarber these years, I don't care. Let's go.
No, I don't care either on that end of things. I will say, the Schwarber deal for me has gotten to a point where if it's like 5 for anything under 35 per year, average annual, I think I'm fine. Like, it's going to hurt in 5 years watching it. because I can only imagine that waddle down the base paths in 5 years, what that's going to look like for him. And whenever that bat speed goes, we're in dire straits. But again, Middleton will have to eat that money down the line, and that's not really on me. I need them to be in a contention window. There's a little piece of me, as I was talking this out with some buddies last night, that the further we get into this offseason, the further removed from the season we get, I get a lot closer to my spring training feeling on JT, where I'm like, is he a $15 million a year type of guy going forward? Am I going to commit $15 million to the 35-year-old catcher? That's the one right now where the sticking point is. Schwarber, if the fifth year guarantees that it's going to be low 30s for average annual value, I think that gives you more flexibility. As I'm looking for flexibility in spending this year, that's one where I really think they should bring him back for the idea of what he is still as a catcher. I think I described it, and I saw on social media, I caught some flack for using this as my example. I do feel like we kind of had the brakes pulled from the car and we're going 100 towards a cliff. I just don't know where the cliff is in front of me. Like, I'm kind of navigating trees and just trying to not crash into one of those, and I know the cliff is somewhere around me. I get worried about that right now. Like, I do. That's where I think financial flexibility comes in. I think with Schwarber, the flexibility, because he's so much of an offensive threat for you, I can kind of step aside and be like, all right, I'm still going to pay that. JT's the holdup for me.
JT 2 years, it's not even an issue. Like, you're not even thinking about it. What was he making? $20 million a year, something like that. The third year, so I think he gets
$20 million a year.
I think he gets a vesting option. Because I mean, if it's a player option, he's probably going to take it. And it all depends. Is there another team out there that's willing to do it? Let me tell you this: the Phillies aren't letting him leave, unless it's a 4-year contract where they're like, we can't do it. And then again, what do you care?
Oh, 39-year-old catcher?
Well,
if someone else wants a 39-year-old catcher, you say, hey, best of luck with that one, man.
I don't disagree. I just don't think it's going to come to that.
I don't think it's going to come to that either. I think he will be a Philly, but I'm looking at
and I didn't even see what Bowden had for his projection.
I can pull that one up for you real quick.
Because I don't subscribe to The Athletic. Maybe I need to do it. Or you can just give me the password so I don't have to pay for another thing there.
I would say that you would be like the fifth or sixth person on this account.
2 for 40?
Oh,
2 for 38? 2 for 35?
The biggest thing, and that's why, like, I'm coming around on, like, the Schwarber years thing. Like, for a while there, I was like, oh, the years are killing me. I think so much more is about finding the financial flexibility this offseason to put you in a better spot to spend around the margins to make you better, that I'm not necessarily concerned about the years because I've accepted that this is all going to end with them sucking in a few years.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
The contract prediction for him is 2 years for $34 million. So that's $17 million per year.
Oh, yeah.
That's 2 more than I just said.
That's easy.
It's not that easy.
That's easy.
It's not.
Because you need them. You already have all these old players. What are you going to do? Sign some free agent catcher? I don't know.
Well, that's he falls under my Bohm category of thinking, where it's like, what do you do without that guy?
All right, coming up, Nick McElwain of WMMR. If you hadn't heard, Pierre Robert, when I say longtime voice of WMMR, the heart and soul of the station, 40-plus years at the same frequency and same call letters is almost unheard of, except Pierre did it. Passed away yesterday. I listened to a lot of MMR. I heard we got off the air here and we were pulled into a meeting where they announced it, and it was like, wow, this is surreal. And then I listened to some Preston and Steve this morning, and this hits a lot of people hard, including everybody that worked with Pierre. Nick, who is also, by the way, a huge Philly sports fan, he's going to jump in studio so he can tell us more about Pierre, because Nick once upon a time was his producer before he moved on to Preston and Steve. So Nick McElwain coming in studio next, Middays with Marks, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
The Eagles trade a receiver. I'm Ray Dunn. This Fanatic Sports Update. No, it wasn't that receiver. The Eagles trade John Mechie, a 2027 6th-round pick, to the New York Jets for cornerback Michael Carter, and a 2027 7th-round pick. Carter has played primarily in the slot in his career. Pushed the question of whether or not the Eagles would kick Cooper DeJean outside. Vic Fangio was asked about that earlier this week. Here's what he had to say.
We considered it, yeah. But, when you have one of the better players at a certain position, and it's an important position where you get involved more, you hate to take a really good player at one position to another position.
The Eagles are 6-2 at the bye. Trade deadline is next Tuesday, November 4th. Elsewhere in Philadelphia sports, Flyers host the Predators tonight at 7, looking to win their third in a row on this homestand. The 76ers back in action tomorrow night at home, NBA Cup action against the Celtics. You can listen to both those games right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update's brought to you by Macy's Backstage. Macy's Backstage is a whole department inside your Macy's store where you can find the looks all for under $30 with new arrivals every day. You never know what you'll find. Find location at Macy'sBackstage.com. I'm Ray Dunn, your home for the Sixers, Flyers, and the Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Thursday morning. As yesterday we got off the air and we were taken down or asked to go down to our performance area of the station, and we share studio space and offices with all of our sister stations here for Beasley Broadcasting Group, including WMMR. And we went in and we were told the unfortunate news that Pierre Robert had passed away, the heart and soul of WMMR. Most people out there listening right now doesn't know WMMR without Pierre Robert. And joining us in studio right now from the Preston and Steve show, longtime WMMR jock and one-time producer with Pierre Robert, Nick McElwain. Nick.
We got this? There we go. Thanks for having me, John. It's a really sad and awful day. I really appreciate you having me on your show. I've been meaning to come down and say hi to you for weeks.
You believe this?
And this is the reason to do it. Makes me sad. You know, we should have been talking about the Phillies playoffs or what the Eagles have been up to. You know, but it's just a truly sad day in radio. It's a truly sad day here in our building, and in my mind, it just in Philadelphia in general.
Yeah. So for people that maybe know the name, maybe they're listeners to the WMMR. We have a lot of crossover listeners from sports and rock and things like that. Maybe people that don't even know who Pierre Robert is. I mean, I was listening to you guys this morning. It's difficult in a short period of time to describe exactly what Pierre was because he meant so much to so many different people. I mean, really, the heart of the station.
Yeah.
Over 4 decades of service, just a truly talented. Like, I can't imagine being as talented as Pierre was in so many different ways, right? We all have our unique talents, but Pierre, you just marvel hearing him speak and how he carried himself and everything else. I know it's everybody here is I'm looking at Paul Blake, our big boss out there that's watching this right now, to see this morning just how sad you guys were and how hard this is hitting you. Man, I didn't know Pierre well. I obviously knew him and I've been here before and everything else, but it's a tough day for everybody here.
Yeah, I mean, I worked for him for 3 years, but I'm 50 years old, and I grew up listening to him, you know, and I started as an intern at WMMR in 1999. I worked in the promotions department for about a year and a half, and then I started working for Pierre in August of 2001, about a month before September 11, you know. So I got thrown into it as his producer and his assistant. 9/11 happens, and I didn't know what the hell was going on. Nobody knew what the hell was going on. But I learned a lot about being a producer then, and then I also learned at that awful time in this country's history what an incredible talent he was. He went up to New York a few days after the towers fell, and he started getting audio, and he started talking to people on the street and interviewing people, and it was the most heart-wrenching stuff ever, but it was just incredibly heartwarming as well because it was attached to his voice. It was his ability to tell a story and to narrate some of the worst times. And, of course, he also did it with some of the best times. His concert coverage was legendary. Yeah. He went to so many shows over the years. If he joined MMR in 81 or 82, and he started at the bottom of the totem pole, you know, he started as an intern and then worked in the music department, and then he did overnights and then finally landed on Middays where he was for most of his career. He just went to show after show after show. And when I worked for him for 3 years, that was a huge part of my job, was going to concerts with him. Which is fun. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, we went to a lot of shows together, and it was a great time. But it's also work, and so you're interviewing artists and trying to get audio and recapping the shows afterwards, and certainly recapping them the next day. But Pierre liked to call it complete concert coverage because that's what it was. The music is what meant the most to him. Right. The bands, the artists, the music, and that's why he started as a DJ in the first place, and it's why and it's one of the reasons why he was the perfect fit for WMMR and really why he was the heart and soul of that radio station.
The connection that he had with his audience, right? Like, one of the reasons why we do what we do for as long as we're doing is we have a connection with the people that are out there listening, right? And Preston and Steve, Pierre, WMMR is, and I was listening to people calling this morning and just tears, seeing you guys, listening to you guys, listening to Preston yesterday, listening to everybody today. Like, you learn a lot about a person in their death as much as and you guys knew him very well, but seeing faces that I haven't seen around here that haven't worked here for a while coming back because he had passed away. This was a wake this morning down there, and the connection that he made with the listeners, the music fans of the city. Like you had said, the concerts. I don't know many concerts that I've been to where Pierre, he's out there with a microphone interviewing 6-year-old kids.
Yeah.
what are you doing here, young man? And like the amount of sound that he must have compiled at these concerts
Staggering.
was unbelievable. And the preparedness of Pierre on a daily basis, I'm sure he was over-prepared every show of his life, Nick.
Yeah, for interviews, he would be incredibly prepared. He would have pads of paper with 1,000 questions, 995 of which he would never get to, but that's how prepared he was. And he really liked talking to artists and learning about why they made a song a particular way or why the songs were charted in a certain direction on the record. You mentioned going to concerts, John. When I worked for him, one of my favorite things to do was to walk behind him, especially at the big joint, which is what he liked to call the now Xfinity Mobile Arena, the Wells Fargo Center, the Wachovia Center, the First Union Center.
Right.
And so I'd be with him gathering audio, but I loved being about 10 feet behind him because you'd walk through the concourse or you'd walk to the seats and you would hear people also walking in there, hey, that's Pierre Robert. Was that Pierre Robert? That was Pierre Robert. And so for listeners of the radio station or just fans of music in general, seeing him at a show was almost, if not greater, than seeing the artist up on stage. And that was what he brought to people. And, he spoke on a microphone for a living. He spoke on that frequency for 40-plus years. And he would speak to the mass audience that was WMMR and continues to be WMMR, but he would also speak to the individual person, and he would reach out to those people. I helped him do that when I worked for him. It was connecting to people on a one-on-one basis, returning emails, calling people back, responding to their texts, whatever. That meant so much to him, and it's something that I've learned and try to emulate. I know you do it as well. I know your relationship with your audience is something that even if you didn't learn it directly from Pierre, you learned it indirectly from Pierre.
Yep.
And that's what his lasting impact will be.
Now, the people in the concourse, even like, let's say you're seeing whoever, right? Seeing Pierre is probably a bigger deal than actually, because you're going to see the band and they're these big, huge stars or whatever. But you feel like you can touch Pierre because that's the kind of connection he had.
Yeah.
With his audience. I heard the stories, and I've heard stories before where little things that you don't realize you're doing at the time, just responding to somebody's email or someone calls in and says that someone passed away and just a brief mention, it has such an impact.
Yeah.
And you can sense it. And like that is Pierre right there. The impact and the relationship that he had with so many people that he never even met, it feels like that you knew him.
It's the intimacy of radio. It's this one-on-one connection. And when you're sitting in your car listening or you're stuck in traffic or you have your headphones on at your office at work, it really feels like that person on the other end of the microphone, you, John Marks, or Pierre Robert, or Preston Elliott, or whomever, they're talking to you directly because they are. And Pierre was better at it than anyone I've ever met and anyone I will ever meet. I should also say that I'm just in shock. Nobody saw this coming. We had the crossover with him, which we would do every day on Tuesday, and it was normal and fine. He did a live broadcast last Thursday, and it was the 12th or 13th anniversary of we got to interview Eddie Vedder at the Wells Fargo Center.
I saw your
years ago.
pictures on social media.
Yeah, and it was the highlight of my professional career was meeting Eddie Vedder. I'm a huge Pearl Jam fan, and that wouldn't have happened if not for Pierre. But so the broadcast last Thursday. It was great, but it was also normal. It was just us sitting down and telling Pearl Jam stories and talking about concert stuff. And so, to leave work like I did on Tuesday, and then we came in and did our show like normal yesterday. We all found out here at work and in this building as a Beasley Station around the same time. It wasn't like he was sick for a while or, we expected any of it. It is a total shock. I am going through and will continue to go through every stage of grief that there is. I've cried my eyes out. I'm trying to drink as much water as possible, but man, we're also laughing a lot and remembering great stories. And so there are so many elements to who he was and what he brought to this building, to this career, and to the radio station down the hall.
The most interaction that I would have with him, and I heard you guys talking about the lateness or just he's on time. When I worked mornings, maybe even when I was working afternoon drive, about 10:35, if I'm walking out the door, here comes Pierre, handful of papers in one hand, his bag in the other, a coffee in another. He's balancing something on his head. Hey, Pierre, let me hold the door for you. Oh, thank you. Oh, it's a beautiful day out today. Let him in the door, and he goes upstairs. And I don't know how many times that happened. It was more than one.
Almost every day, yeah. I mean, Pierre Standard Time is what he called it. He was consistently and always late. My wife remarked to me yesterday, the one thing that he was early for was his own passing, and how awful and tragic is that? He was late for everything else in his life. But yeah, and it was he loved radio and he loved what you guys do. Even though he wasn't a sports fan, he could talk to you about sports. And we were at the Super Bowl parade this year, and he was chatting with Mike Vito about the Eagles and what they had done and how they accomplished it. But he got to throw out the first pitch of the Phillies game. He interviewed people like Eric Lindros and Steve Carlton, Tug McGraw, the Philly sports legends, and he was able to connect to them on a human basis, which I know is something that's important to you. But he'd come down here and chat with you guys on this frequency. He would chat with Mike Missinelli and build these friendships, not because of sports or because of sports talk, but because of radio and talking to an audience. And he knew what that meant better than anyone, I think. And it's just something that I try to remind myself of how important it is.
He was naturally curious.
Absolutely.
About everything.
Yeah. And he also reveled in the foibles of not knowing anything about sports. When he threw out the first pitch of the Phillies game, this was through our buddy John Brazier, who works for the Phils. We're in the bowels of the Citizens Bank Park, and when you get to do that, the Fanatic is there, and you walk out through the visitors' dugout. And when you walk past, or when you walk out the visitors' dugout, you walk past the umpires' room. And so the 4 umpires for that game that day were getting ready. They're just doing their job. They're umps. And Pierre started talking to them about baseball, except that he knew nothing about baseball. And these guys are 4 professional umpires. They have no idea who the hell Pierre Robert is.
Right.
And it didn't matter. And it was, I could see them looking at one another and laughing. And he made 4 friends really fast. And then we walk away, and then one of the umpires was like, what the hell was that all about? And then he goes out, and he had practiced throwing the pitch really seriously. He'd taken it seriously. He threw a strike. He got a big hug from the Fanatic. He liked going to games, even though if he didn't know the first thing about who was playing shortstop, that he still liked it. And what he really liked about sports was what it brought to Philadelphia. He loved seeing fans be happy. He loved being out at the parade. He loved being on the celebrations on Broad Street after the Phillies won in 2008, after the Eagles won the last couple of Super Bowls. And so that was his love for Philadelphia. Seeing other Philadelphians happy made him happy.
Yeah. Nick McElwain of the Preston and Steve Show and 93.3 WMMR, remembering Pierre Robert. Will never be another one like him.
No, man. They broke the mold when they made Pierre, and, thanks for honoring him down here. Thank you for doing what you're doing, John, and thanks for being somebody to talk to on a really difficult day for all of us.
Yeah, you guys are doing a great job.
Thank you.
Really doing a great job. It was, as soon as I left yesterday, I put you guys on right away, and I guess I missed the on-air announcement, and then I have people texting me saying, like, what's going on? And I'm like, I'm hearing the same thing as you. I don't really know what's going on.
Yeah, and we just to one last point, we don't really know what happened yet. There's no cause of death or anything like that. We think that it was natural causes. It probably happened late last night, early yesterday morning. But yeah, it was sudden. It was and hopefully we'll find out some more in the days ahead.
All right, Nick.
Thank you, John.
All right, buddy. All right, coming back, we have more stuff to talk about here. It's Middays with Marks, 97.5 The Fanatic. All right, we're back. It is Middays with Marks, 97.5 The Fanatic. That is not I don't think Pierre was a big, was it Glass Animals? You never know, though. I mean, that was on MMR.
I was going to say, if there is some way for him to have the backstory on Glass Animals, I think he probably still would have the backstory on it for you. Even if he wasn't a fan, he probably has at least a dozen pages of notes on him.
He was a big Grateful Dead fan, Pierre. I know that.
Yes. God bless Grateful Dead.
Yeah, but when I say Grateful Dead, what does that even mean to a 25-year-old? And it's just Grateful Dead?
Yeah.
You a fan?
Sure.
Well, I'm not. I mean, you don't have to say sure.
I mean, I'm not against their music. I'm not telling you that's the first thing I pop on when I go listening to music.
But you know their songs?
I know the Grateful Dead,
you know they exist. Okay.
Right.
Well,
if you played me a Grateful Dead song, oh yeah, that's.
If you played me
Dead.
like on, they played one song on, I don't know if it was yesterday or this morning when I was listening in. I didn't even know it was a Grateful Dead song. I have no idea. I have no interest.
Well, that was also, I thought, the beauty of listening, because I listened a lot through the afternoon yesterday and then this morning coming in. Like, the music they played yesterday, it wasn't necessarily so much music that I know, but it's identified so well with the moment.
Yes.
I thought, like, the way they weaved in people coming on, giving commentary, talking about them, and weaving back out to songs that he enjoyed, you just got such a warm feeling in such a cold day, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Listening to the music that they were playing. So I thought they've done a tremendous job.
No, they and you don't know how you're gonna. I mean, they treated the moment, which was very difficult. Like it's the moment's been unbelievable, and Pierre is getting the proper respect that he deserves. I mean, he is a giant in this city as far as rock and radio and everything else.
The music world.
The music world, yeah, he's got relationships with John Bon Jovi. Put out an Instagram post yesterday that was like a book in what he wrote, and that's the kind of connection that he had with everybody. I mean, you couldn't, if you ever talked to him, and you couldn't help but smile. He was one of those guys. Let's get to Bill in Levittown. This is my buddy Bill in Levittown. What's up, Bill?
Johnny Mark!
What's up, Bill?
What's going on, my man?
How are you, buddy?
Hey, listen, if I get a little emotional, you'll understand why. But I want to, in remembrance of Pierre, I want to thank you also with your connection with your listeners. Not only did Nick say it, but it truly holds through in this city. Growing up here, listening to the radio, whether it was for music or sports, that connection that you guys make with us is something that, in my personal life, will last forever. What you did for me in the hard time I went through with losing my best friend, and you bringing it up, and some of the memories that we shared together, not only through sports but just in life in general, really hits home with me when it comes to stuff like this. And when you hear this situation with Pierre, it brought me right back to what happened to my buddy. And
so let Bill, let me
hearing about him reaching out to me.
Bill, let me tell the story. So,
sure.
When I was working with Sean Brace, and we put together Ray. We put together. Wait do you hear this prize we put together? It was limo and tickets with me and Sean up to see a Flyers Rangers game in Madison Square Garden.
All right.
Legit. I don't even know how we got it done, Bill. So Bart, who is Bill's best friend, Bart. He's calling, and he wins the contest. I forget how we even gave it away, but Bart is the winner, and he's working. So he can't yell and scream because he's worried that he's going to get in trouble. And so it's like, so Bill and Bart, and Bill's a total nut, and so is Bart. So we go up to Madison Square Garden, Sean Brace and me, and these two. We go up to Madison Square Garden in a limo, and just had an unbelievable time. Memories that I'll never forget. And these guys barking at Rangers fans. And yeah, it was just like unbelievable that night. And that's the connection that Bill's talking about, because in a contest that we could give away stuff, we went up there. We're friends. Like, Bill's friends, Bart's friends. So how many years ago was it now, Bill?
Oh, my goodness.
4 years now?
You guys were on. It was when you just started on 97.5. We used to go up every Saturday.
Well, no, that Bart. So Bart ends up a couple years ago. I was
3 years. It's been 3 years now.
I was at the other place. Bill texted me and said, "Bart's dead. He got murdered." And it's like
it was the FedEx murder.
Bart Mashuli. Yeah. So I mean, it was. I actually saw it on the news. So he got.
Correct.
So, long story short, he did absolutely positively nothing wrong, but a disgruntled coworker shot and killed him for no reason. Bart was a guy that worked multiple jobs, so his wife didn't have to work, so she could be home with the kids. He's got the best kids in the world, successful, beautiful young kids that now don't have their father because this maniac had to do it. So, I'm crying right now just thinking about it. But that's like, Bill, you're right. That's the kind of connection that we made, and that's what you want in this job, in this business. So
yeah, and I'll tell you, John. As I said, you develop that connection with people when you talk, and you might not know it. And this goes for anybody listening to your show now or watching. Is that connection that you make, John? It's not a bit, and that's why people love listening to you, because it's not a bit. You're a true person. And you actually care about the people that listen to you, that call, that take time out of their life, and you make it part of their life. And I just want to thank you for that. I'm glad I got the call back. I'm glad you're back on the radio, and I couldn't be happier or prouder that you're back on the radio. And hopefully we can make more memories together, John. Sports talk is on the back burner right now.
We'll talk about the Eagles' offensive line next week. Just give a call, all right?
Yeah, but John, I love you. Thank you for doing this, and
all right, Bill.
I will always listen to you, man.
Thanks, buddy. Love you too. Appreciate it. Yeah, that was an unbelievable time. These guys are great guys, and we had fun going up there, limo to and from. Like Ray, you would have fit right in with us.
Yeah, I'm actually about to send Petrelli a text. Hey man, I got an idea for a prize.
Yeah, we got with the Flyers, and the Flyers are like, yeah, we can get you some tickets. And then we had worked some connections with doing some trade with one of the limo companies. I think it was Park Avenue. My buddy Jeff Moore, who now is over running iHeart, he was an account executive at the time. We set it up. We went up. It was unbelievable. But it really is, like, talking about Pierre, the connection that he had with his audience was unlike anything I've ever seen. And you do this, and when I was doing digital stuff, there's no connection with it. You don't have a connection. You don't have enough listeners, viewers. It was good. It was a good experience. But, when you say something and you're talking about your family, or I do wife talk and I'm complaining about my wife, and I have someone that's yelling at me at the grocery store saying, like, oh, you were saying about your wife, that was funny. Or I get a guy yelling, I know Ray. My son went to school with Ray at Wegmans, which happens all the time now. It's like, that's why you do this stuff, because people are listening to what you're saying, and it's fun. So, anyway, news at noon coming up. What do we have? Jason Williams, Shaq's stolen car, and another athlete podcast. Just what we need. Another athlete podcast. Middays with Marks, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
The Eagles trade a receiver. Operates on with this Fanatic Sports Update. No, it wasn't that receiver. The Eagles trade John Mechie and a 2027 6th-round pick to the New York Jets for cornerback Michael Carter and a 2027 7th-round pick. Carter has played primarily in the slot, pushing the question of whether or not the Eagles would kick Cooper DeJean outside. James Palmer joined us earlier today. You can listen to that entire conversation on our website and the Fanatic app. He doesn't think that's happening. Vic Fangio earlier this week didn't sound like he wants to push DeJean to the outside corner either.
We considered it, yeah. But, when you have one of the better players at a certain position, and it's an important position where you get involved more, you hate to take a really good player at one position to another position.
Eagles 6-2 at the bye. The NFL trade deadline is Tuesday, November 4th. Flyers host the Predators tonight at 7 o'clock, looking to win their third game in a row on this homestand. 76ers back in action tomorrow night at home. They've got the Celtics to begin NBA Cup play. Both those games you can listen to right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update is brought to you by Fox One. Fox One is your home to stream live sports from NFL on Fox to Big Noon, Saturdays, NASCAR, and more. This week, don't miss the Nittany Lions take on Ohio State. Download the Fox One app to stream Fox One. Live sports streaming now. I'm Ray Dunn on your home for the Sixers, Flyers, and the Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
All right, we're back. It is Middays with Marks. As we honored Pierre Robert, just want to mention again, we talked about it earlier. Harry Donahue, the longtime Philadelphia radio legend, also passed away yesterday. So,
brutal day.
Yeah, man. I mean, like, geez. Harry and I knew that he was sick, but Harry Mays knows him pretty well, so I knew that he was sick. But Pierre just kind of came out of nowhere. So R.I.P. to Harry Donahue as well, one of the greats.
One of the greats, one of the most legendary sounding voices, and for an entire generation, the voice you were probably most excited to hear as a kid. Like, it's not my generation. Immediately, my dad yesterday, we were on the phone just talking about the day, and it's like, snow days. It's all, you think back at him on KYW, it's like, are we going to get a snow day?
And we'll talk about that coming up, because I still remember my snow number from many years ago. But do I need to hit the legal, or did you hit it?
We hit it already.
Beautiful. Well, I do still have to say the 12 o'clock hour is brought to you by Service First HVAC, offering 0% financing for 48 months, rebates and tax credits up to $4,300 when purchasing a heating and cooling system. Learn more at ServiceFirstHVAC.com. It's time for News at Noon.
This city needs its news.
Now, it's time for
I'd like to be remembered as a good newsman.
the News at Noon
That's the coolest story I've ever heard in my entire life. That's insane.
with Ray Dunn.
That's right. News at noon time. We're going to get a couple of basketball stories in here. We'll start with Jason Williams, who had a take on the Basketball Hall of Fame, which I think falls in line with a lot of people's thinking about basketball.
So this is Jason Williams, former guard?
Yes.
In the NBA?
Yes.
Okay.
On his takes on the Basketball Hall of Fame. Keeps calling it the NBA Hall of Fame. Very clear distinction on that one, not just the NBA Hall of Fame.
Right.
Very inclusive group. He thinks it should be much more exclusive.
In my eyes, if you're a Hall of Fame, you're a superstar. But with that being said, I think the Hall of Fame in the NBA, there's somebody that makes it every year, and I think the Hall of Fame should be so prestigious that maybe 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years go by that nobody makes that job. But the NBA, it's somebody making it every year, and I'm not so sure I agree with that.
You think too many people get in?
I do. Maybe some people get in that maybe shouldn't.
Now, left to wonder who he believes that's in that shouldn't be in.
Oh, yeah. So those comments obviously are clear that there's people that have got in recently that he is not behind. It sounds like Randy Moss talking, because Randy Moss, I believe they're from the same area. But it sounds like Randy Moss talking. Yeah, Jason Williams was a good player.
Do you think there's too many in the Basketball Hall of Fame?
But it's not it's too many people look at like the NFL Hall of Fame, Baseball Hall of Fame. It's not the same thing. It is not as difficult to get in. More coaches make it, more players make it, international players make it. I don't think you can. He's mad because he's not in, and he thinks he should be in. So is there too many players? It's just different. It's different than the other Hall of Fames. You can't look at it the same way.
I guess. Yeah, I just look at it and say, like, kind of what you're saying. If it's the Basketball Hall of Fame, you're honoring so many different walks of basketball. Like, who's to say this versus that? Like, some of these guys have really good international careers. Some of these guys have really good collegiate careers. If you're honoring all of basketball, I feel like that's a wide encompassing thing. There's a reason you have the College Football Hall of Fame in the NFL.
Yeah, so who has been in recent years? I'm just doing a quick Google search here. I don't know. The Basketball Hall of Fame last few years. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of players that make it that. So 2025, Carmelo Anthony. Okay.
Deserved.
Dwight Howard.
Deserved.
Sue Bird.
Deserved.
Maya Moore.
Deserved.
Yeah, I don't know any of these. Sylvia Fowles.
Deserved.
And then the Simone Augustus the year before, Gene Bess, Tim Hardaway, Manu Ginobili, Chris Bosh, Lauren Jackson. I don't know. The Baseball Hall of Fame's watered down now as well a little bit.
You think? They make it try to make it as exclusive as you can get. Now, of course, the writers can work together.
Yeah, but Harold Baines, if that's a Hall of Famer, then you got to readdress everybody else that's ever been nominated.
They're going to get to that. I'm sure that's the radical changing of what they're going to do with that Writers Association will come at some point. All right, moving on. We'll go to a Hall of Famer. Shaq had a $180,000 Range Rover stolen as it was in transport to get to him. This is the news story that covered this. I'm just shocked that it could disappear without a trace.
Shaquille O'Neal's nearly $200,000 Range Rover that was customized by a Riverside company stolen. Yeah, police say this happened while it was being transported from Georgia to Louisiana. It was last seen in Atlanta on Monday. The owner of Effortless Motors, who has worked with O'Neal on many of his cars, says the transportation company claims they were hacked.
We did the work onto it. We put time and a lot of money into getting this car and getting it to Shaquille O'Neal. And it sucks that he didn't get the satisfaction of getting his brand new car that he was waiting for.
Effortless Motors is offering a $10,000 reward for any information leading to the vehicle's recovery.
I bet. Yeah.
You hear that guy talk? Does it sound like he's concerned about the $180,000 car that he just customized for him?
Unbelievable.
Sounds nonchalant.
Yep, like it's a common thing.
Right, like, oh, yeah, the flat screen TV was taken from the Best Buy. We hope we get it back. Like, it's $180,000. It's Shaq's car.
Yep. Yep, yeah, Shaq is still looking for it. We'll see if they find it. That's a pretty expensive ride. Dude makes a lot of money. His business is outside of what he does with basketball. That's where he's made a lot of his money. It's crazy.
Every third commercial on, like, the old folks channels is Shaq trying to endorse something.
But, you know, because that used to be my go-to insurance, the General.
The General.
Only because Shaq was a part of it. And Shaq gets paid, I believe, in equity, not money. It's like William Shatner with Priceline. Mm-hmm. They didn't pay him to be the spokesman. He got equity in the company, which paid off a lot. So I believe Shaq is the same way.
You were influenced by Shaq telling you where to get insurance.
Well, I never got the General. I have real insurance.
Okay. I was going to say.
So if you had to get insurance based on commercials, what would you get? I don't see the General around much anymore.
Well, no, it's the old folks channels. It's what it is.
It's during People's Court. Because I watch People's Court.
That's what
I used to. Yeah. For a great low rate you can find online, head to the General and save some time.
Yeah. I've been there.
What about the Cure Auto commercials that are horrible?
Pass.
Just because of the commercials or Kyle Schwarber?
I've already got my MVP. What? What MVP? My most valuable policy. God, it's awful. Worst thing ever put together. Only thing that might be worse is a new athlete podcast. We're going to hear more from Brett Favre.
We're finally kicking off Fourth and Favre with the man himself, NFL Hall of Famer and legend Brett Favre. Well, why do you think you still have such a big fan base, Brett, after being retired for 15 years?
Well, I don't know how. I really don't pay much attention to it, but if you say I got a big fan base, then I'll believe it. But I don't know.
Opening 20 seconds to another athlete podcast. Why do you, a Hall of Fame quarterback, think people still care about you?
Yeah, it's. I just checked the odds. It's plus 400 whether or not they're still doing a podcast this time next year.
I'm taking the minus whatever. It's the lock of the century. This thing's not going to last.
Yep.
There were jump cuts in the video in this opening 20 seconds. That opening 20 seconds, they couldn't get through without an edit.
Well, he was doing Sirius XM stuff before, Brett Favre.
What happened?
I wonder. Maybe he's ripping off the allegedly, of course. Allegedly. God. I should just stop. Wouldn't he suing somebody for it?
What a creep.
There you go.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're going to get sued by Brett Favre.
Listen, you never know. You never know.
Well, Fourth and Favre, folks. Get it wherever you get your podcast. Is there any athlete you don't hear from enough that you'd actually like to hear from?
Is there any athlete that I watch the podcast or I listen to the podcast? The answer would be no.
Is there anyone that you would?
Brandon Graham has a good podcast. Wouldn't consume the same thing, the entire thing, but I think it's good. You know what I'm doing, dude? I'm watching the clips. I have very little. I don't have enough time to be listening to these. You think I have enough time to listen to athlete podcasts? You know, I got Cops episodes to catch up on. The first 48 episodes.
People's Court.
No, I don't have time for that anymore. What was Deadliest Catch? There was no Sixers game last night, so I emptied some of my DVR Deadliest Catch. Got a lot of stuff going on, man.
My dad's a big fan of Deadliest Catch. Or
Is he?
Was a big fan of Deadliest Catch. I don't know how much he still watches.
Oh, yeah, I DVR it.
Yeah.
I had a bunch in the DVR.
Well, now he's got all these YouTube channels with the different fishermen that are going out. He's branched out from Deadliest Catch.
Yeah.
Anyone that's doing something in the ocean, he's interested.
Wicked Tuna's a good one. I like that better than Deadliest Catch. And then I like the there's an Australian border patrol show that I watch, but I've watched every episode, and it's been on for like 20 seasons. So, coming up, we have a story on A.J. Brown in The Athletic yesterday that broke down a lot of A.J. Brown's motivations. Colin Cowherd had an interesting take on it. We'll play that for you coming up after this. It is Middays with Marks, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Article is basically getting the football. He admits his words. He's a loner, struggles to make friends. His words. Well, Jalen Hurts is a more social animal. A.J. Brown is a loner. It's oil and water. They're not adversaries. It's just never going to blend. A.J. Brown is a little like Prince. He's never going to be part of a band. Remember We Are the World? He wanted to do his separately. Quincy Jones, like, we're not going to do that. Like, some people are solo artists, and I think A.J. Brown is that.
Yeah, that's Colin Cowherd yesterday. By the way, Jalen Hurts is not a social butterfly. Please, give me a break. He was saying that to make a point. Jalen Hurts is not a social butterfly by any means.
That was the funny thing about that entire thing. It's like if Jalen's the social guy of the two, God help us.
But,
hey, Jalen Hurts dressed up, Halloween party. We all saw it.
I'm not going to be negative on Jalen, and I'm not at all. What he said about AJ Brown, I mean, honestly, I'm not AJ Brown, but I'm an only child. I'm a loner. I don't have a lot of friends. I have acquaintances, but I try to, like the dad's night out we did at McGurk's on Saturday. That's me trying to expand my network. Have people that I have more connections with. I do not. If I'm looking at things that I don't even know if I want to improve it, but that is just me. Yeah, that's me. When I went through bouts of depression and things like that, man, like it's easy. It's easy to be by yourself. So you don't want to say it. And AJ has talked a lot about his struggles with mental health, as I have as well on the air. I went through periods in my life where it was hard for me to get out of bed. I was depressed. I was. And a lot of times you don't even realize it in the moment that you're depressed, but you are. And I don't know if that's going on with AJ or what, but being that he does keep to himself and he does consider himself a loner, and this is what the article was about. These are his words, right? Not somebody else's. You can see the social media stuff on a Tuesday where he's sitting at home and he's by himself and he's in his own head. You can see how it starts. You can see where it goes, and he's stewing on stuff and whatever. That's why when we talk about AJ, I always want to make sure that I say, I don't think this is a TO type thing where, and I'm sure TO has struggles with his mental health as well, but this isn't a TO thing at all. Actually, you know what? With Joel Embiid, I think this is very similar to Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid is not a guy that is out doing a lot of stuff with other people. He keeps to himself as well. He's more comfortable by himself than with other people. And you have to really. And by the way, so am I. I would much rather be by myself than with a group of people. It's nice to be with people occasionally, and I need that. But people that are loners and are comfortable being by themselves, it's you do a lot of thinking, right? And sometimes your thoughts, when that's all that you have, your thoughts are they're difficult to deal with. So as it pertains to AJ, the Philadelphia Eagle, I mean, Cal said oil and water. I don't really know. I don't know if AJ is going to be able to go anywhere. And I've learned this with people in my life that it's not being happy isn't about having things or having money or doing that, because you're always moving the goalposts. I'll be happy if this happens. I'll be happy if that happens. I'll be happy. And then they're never happy, right? And AJ, the unhappiness, I don't know if he's ever truly going to be happy with things. Because despite Jalen Hurts not being a great throwing quarterback and he's not putting up 1,500 yards, he could also be playing for a team that has 3 wins and won't trade him. He could also be playing for one of the perennial doormats of the NFL. So, but it doesn't mean that he understands that right now.
It almost seems like, and reading that article yesterday, which was really good in The Athletic, Brooks Cabina put that one out, and I thought it was just really interesting to hear him say that he stole the moment of the Super Bowl win from himself. Like, he expected it to be something, and he built his expectation to be something, and he almost didn't enjoy it because of that expectation he had. Kind of what you're talking about, like, I'll be happy when. Like, I'm going to be overjoyed when we win this Super Bowl.
And he wasn't.
And not finding it. It's tough when we're talking about a team week in and week out that we're expecting to win football games and expecting to go through, because this is so outside the lines. It's so much of like, all right, if you built that up to an expectation and it didn't live up to your expectation, going through the next season, what's the thing that's going to hit that joy mark?
Right.
And it's something
what makes you happy?
We all can relate to. Like, you get a promotion in your job and you think that's the thing that you've been looking for. You meet that person, you think that's what you're looking for. You get to that vacation, and it's a good, I think it was, I forget, maybe it was a Seinfeld bit? No, it was a Sandler bit on SNL, where it's like the guy is trying to sell you the Italian vacation,
right.
And Sandler's like, you're going to be the same person in Italy that you are at
here.
home.
Yeah.
Italy won't, but like that idea of we're always looking for that thing that's going to make us overjoyed. And maybe that's what he thought the Super Bowl would be, and maybe that's why he was so good of a soldier through most of last season, outside really that passing game comment that they cleaned up themselves pretty quickly.
Right.
Like, maybe that's what he saw, and maybe when he saw that the goal he reached wasn't the one that got him overjoyed. We've seen that focus shift and change, and it's a very human thing to try and put upon a football team that we like, just the way we talk about.
Right.
Like, we expect them to win football games. That's what we're here to talk about. Like, we're here to talk about what they do on the field, and it's not a field thing at all.
AJ recognizing that he took the moment from himself is really interesting. He knows it.
Yeah.
He does. Like, you would much rather, not that you would much rather see, but the player that, I'm not telling you that Saquon was out of shape or anything like that. Saquon Barkley enjoyed the Super Bowl in his season last year. He was everywhere. Like, celebrating a Super Bowl and being the toast of the town, you can totally see any player not even realizing that they're certainly taking advantage of that. And it doesn't seem like AJ was even interested in doing that.
Right. I don't know if it was me on a weekend or if it was something we talked with Mike, but like there was at some point where I was like, I feel for Jalen and I feel for AJ because both of them have talked so much about how they didn't take the victory lap. Like, I get it.
You got to enjoy those wins, man.
If it was me, I probably would have went overboard. I would have had the Cole Hamels 2009 season. Like, I would have done that. But for them, like, I just wish maybe you got like a month out of it.
Do you enjoy your successes?
No.
I don't either.
No.
I never do. I never enjoy it. I tell myself I'm going to enjoy it when it's all said and done. You know what I like? My family, my kids. I enjoy that. I enjoy that success. That's the most proud of anything in my life would be my family, right? And that's why it means so much to me. But like personal success or professional success, I don't enjoy that. I mean, I don't know if I like. It seems like for him, it's he uses the motivation, but I don't know. I wish I could enjoy my life a little bit more from when I've had some success professionally, and I just haven't.
Yeah, I mean, I relate to that. I mean, I feel like I might be the first person to show up with a bottle for a friend at a big moment, but like, you know, like, oh, let's celebrate, like, let's enjoy it. But when it comes to myself, like, there's no moment in which I'm like, yeah, like maybe I'll go home and like sit for 10 minutes and be like, all right, that was cool. You know, what's tomorrow? Like, I'm very next thing oriented. So I don't know. I came away reading that Athletic article yesterday on AJ Brown, feeling very empathetic and feeling like very
understanding him a little bit more.
Yeah, and feeling like, you know, we've talked so much about him the last couple of weeks, and I get why we're having these conversations in the context of this football team succeeding, but just as the person, you feel for someone that has reached the height of their profession and is still struggling to figure out what exactly it is that's going to get them that payoff. And that makes this like, it's not a very fun sports talk radio, like, oh, let's dive into the topic, but it's a very real human thing that I came away from yesterday reading.
We're doing some deep conversations today.
We are.
Look at that.
It's been a very interesting hour on the program.
Holy cow. Listen, it has been a weird last 24 hours with Pierre and Harry Donovan.
Yeah.
All right, coming up, we'll play some Jeff McClain audio from earlier in the week about what motivates AJ. It's definitely worth listening to again after what we read yesterday. And is there a greater emphasis on the passing game? We got to do a how about that as well today.
Okay.
I have a how about that from today that we haven't talked about.
Sounds good.
All right. Middays with Marks, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Eagles trade a receiver. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Birds traded John Mechie in a 2027 6th-round pick to the New York Jets for cornerback Michael Carter and a 2027 7th-round pick. Carter's played primarily in the slot in his career, pushed the question of whether or not the Eagles would kick Cooper DeJean outside. We had NFL insider James Palmer on earlier in the show. You can take a listen to our interview with him on the Fanatic app or 975thefanatic.com, where he said he doesn't believe that's the route they're going to go with Cooper DeJean. And Vic Fangio was asked earlier this week about moving DeJean outside.
We considered it, yeah. But, you know, when you have one of the better players at a certain position, and it's an important position where you get involved more, you hate to take a really good player at one position to another position.
Eagles sitting at 6-2 at the bye. The NFL trade deadline is next Tuesday, November 4th. Flyers host the Predators tonight at 7 o'clock, looking to win their third in a row on this homestand. You can listen to that game live right here on The Fanatic. Tomorrow night on The Fanatic, you get the 76ers at home against the Celtics. NBA Cup action beginning. Again, you can listen to that right here on 97.5. This update is brought to you by King's Hawaiian Sliders. Eli Manning reminds you there's nothing like football in King's Hawaiian Sliders. King's Hawaiian Sliders makes you a winner on game day. Pick them up this weekend in the bakery or deli section of your grocery store. I'm Ray Dunn on your home for the Sixers, Flyers, and the Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
The goals.
Tippett looking, shooting. He scores! Oh, and Tippett.
The saves.
backhand shot. Vladar made the save. Great save by Vladar.
The hits.
Connecting hammers Jake Sanderson up against the end wall.
The fights.
Delorier's dropped the gloves at center ice with Marcus Foligno.
The excitement.
Took the shot. He scores! Michkov buries it by Sorokin, and the Flyers have the 2-1 lead in the shootout.
The Flyers. This is your radio home for the Orange and Black. 97.5. The Fanatic.
This is Harry from HarryWins.com. We are on fire in the NFL, hitting 10 of our last 12 games. That's right, 10-2 run in the NFL. Tonight, the Ravens take on the Dolphins. We're offering our NFL Game of the Month right now on our website, HarryWins.com, for $70. However, tonight, everyone gets this game free. No salesman, no sales pitch, no gimmicks. This game will be texted to your phone 100% free. All you have to do is text us right now, keyword Harry, to 72761. The reason? Because Uncle Harry loves you. Instead of me taking you fishing, I'm taking you straight to the bank. Text Harry to 72761. We'll text you this winner directly. Massive NFL Game of the Month free. Text keyword Harry to 72761, and we'll text you this game right now straight to your phone. Sit back, relax. You have an uncle in the business. NFL blowout point spread winner. Text right now Harry to 72761.
If you're one of the millions of Americans behind
just continue to be the best version of myself, you know. I truly feel like I'm the best in the league, and, I want to put a stamp on it, you know. So I'm definitely motivated but also I have to put the team first. So, and that's what I'll do. Honestly, I could go into deeper, but I think that's what I'm focused on. Being the best version of myself, proving it each and every day that I am the best.
AJ Brown, where's that from?
All the way back, I believe, beginning or end of July.
Okay.
So, training camp. It's the quote that Jeff McClain referenced earlier this week when he was talking about what motivates.
When he was on with the guys in the morning. Okay. Yeah, I feel like when we talk about the wide receiver position, we talk about them being the diva-ish position, which I think for the most part is true, but that's not really maybe a little bit of that. Maybe a little bit, but not in the traditional sense of what we think about a wide receiver being mad. Not the T.O.-ish type stuff. All right, we're back. Middays with Marks. He is an interesting guy, A.J. Brown. He is. And that was the Prince song, and that was because Cowherd had brought up Prince in there.
Yeah, he's Prince.
You like Prince?
He's a solo act. I could name more Prince songs for you than I could Grateful Dead, if that helps.
Me too. Yeah. Well, that was Party Like It's 1999.
Yes.
And they played that song at the hotel party in 1999, the entire 11 o'clock hour going into 2000.
So you hated that song until about 2015?
No. Every time I hear it, I love it. That's about the only Prince song that I like. I'm not anti-Prince.
Not a little red Corvette?
No,
not a Raspberry Beret guy?
No, I mean, listen, Raspberry Beret, kind you find in a secondhand store. I don't hate Prince at all. I'm just not a...
Wait. When Doves Cry?
This is what it sounds like.
Can I get a fifth?
When Joe cries. No, I've made parody songs from Doves Cry. Somebody I used to work with crying on the air. This is what it sounds like when Joe cries. It was good. It was fun. Now, honestly, everybody can listen to the music they like without any type of argument with me, except for I don't like Bon Jovi, and I know he was going to call in the President Steve because him and Pierre were close. So I don't want to rip him today.
Yeah, today of all days.
So I'll leave that alone.
Yeah, maybe leave.
But it's not Bruce Springsteen. It's Bruce Springsteen fans, or who I don't really like. And Dave Matthew fans to a lesser degree because they count how many times they've seen him. And Nick McElwain, who was in here, he's one of those guys. When Dave comes to town, he'll go to all the shows and then talk about the set list and stuff. I just don't have interest in that. Springsteen fans are really annoying because they want me to acknowledge how great Bruce is and how long he plays and all this other stuff. And I don't have to acknowledge anything.
It's a tremendous concert, man.
You enjoy. So you're one of these people?
No, but I've heard the conversation.
Right.
I mean, I work in sports media. I feel like I'm surrounded by it.
Yes.
It's like walking into a room and telling a group of sports media people that Seinfeld's a bad show. Like you're just going to get attacked.
Yeah, no, I have no problem with Bruce Springsteen. He's an all-time great. Like enjoy it on your own. Leave me out of it.
I will tell you, you just lost my parents in a matter of two sentences with Bon Jovi and Springsteen.
Well, I mean, they're a little different. Springsteen is an all-time great. Bon Jovi's a complete fraud. But again, I don't want to talk.
Bon Jovi's a great guy.
He's a great guy. I don't want to do that today. Not in honor of Pierre. I don't need to do that today. But yeah, like there's a big difference between the two. All right? Springsteen is an all-time great. I just don't need you don't have to argue with me about how great he is in concert. I don't want to see him in concert.
Dude, but it's a show. You have to understand. It's like a marathon of his music.
So is it your dad that's Springsteen?
Both.
Both of them?
Dad, yeah.
Do they go to the shows?
They've been. I can't tell you the last time they were at a Springsteen concert.
But they don't count. See,
they have not at least bragged to me about the number of times.
My buddy Zach he's the guy that's like, no, you have to tell me. You have to just admit it. He's the best, and you want to see him. No, I don't. I went to a Rose Bowl party where Penn State was in it. So I'm at a place with a bunch of Penn State fans and Springsteen fans. Because the people that are at this party met at Springsteen shows.
Oh boy.
So they don't know each other. They met at Springsteen shows. So one of the TVs in the basement, and it's a very nice house, very nice basement, just has live Springsteen shows on a loop. And then there's the football game on the other one. And they're talking about Traverse City, 1993. Oh, he opened up with this. And it's like, I didn't drive. I'm like, are we leaving soon? Well, the game just started. I know. Are we leaving soon? Yeah, so I had a bunch of Springsteen nuts. Like, well, I've seen him 33 times. Oh, I've seen him 47 times.
You don't understand, though. That Green Bay show in 2004 was probably the best we've seen of him. That's saying a lot because that 2004 tour that he went on, I would argue, I mean, that 2015 set list that he had was pretty great. But that 2004 set list where he was at the peak of his powers, really delivering it, you thought that he was done. He found a second prime there in the early 2000s.
That's what I was dealing with.
Yeah.
Yep. Many years ago now, but still. So since then, they probably have more Springsteen fans that they hang out with. Listen, it's not my thing. I'm perfectly happy. Go listen to whoever you want till your heart's content. But don't try to strong-arm me into telling me that I have to acknowledge, fine, he's great. You enjoy it. Springsteen's fine. I don't know. Like, whatever. I don't have any interest. Streets of Philadelphia I have on my phone.
Oh, there you go.
I like that.
Yeah.
But, whatever. Let him do. He plays for 4.5 hours. Great. Then you stay for 4.5 hours. I'm leaving.
My favorite thing about Springsteen, specifically for me, is the way that he sings. You can, after a few, convince yourself you sound like him more than many artists.
That's true. It's great.
I love a good artist that you can convince yourself you sound like.
Glory days.
Yeah, you think you pop one or two, you hear his music come on, you're like, oh, yeah, I'm going to sing along to this. And you're like, I am right on key right now. And anyone listening to you knows you're not, but you feel like you are with Springsteen's music.
Right. Glory days.
Yeah, you're nailing it. You're nailing it.
I do that with Pearl Jam. I can do that with Pearl Jam. Jeremy spoken class today. Hoo, 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 hoo. Since we're talking rock and roll today, I kind of sound like Eddie Vedder if you really listen closely.
I did turn down my headphones. You sound exactly like him.
610-632-0975. That's good. This is good for feedback. Feedback on the text line 610-632-0975 or feedback. So it's 975 feedback at 975thefanatic.com. That's coming up. All right, I can't wait to get into this. Potential MLB realignment. It's making its rounds on social media. Should it happen? Is it going to happen? And what do you think of where the Phillies end up if it happens, or if this particular model happens? We have that coming up next. Middays with Marks, 97.5 The Fanatic. Marks or True Post coming up right here. Middays with Marks. We are back on a rainy Thursday as MLB realignment. I'm all for it happening right now. It's got a little stale. And here's why. You play everybody now. It's not, and I used to hate with interleague play because it'd be like, oh, well, you play the AL East this year. You don't play the AL West. Like, oh, that's fair. So we play the AL team. We play all the good teams in the AL, but other teams don't have to play them. So now they actually make it where you're playing everybody. You're not playing as many division games, which is fine. So, Ray, there's no way you weren't even alive for this. But when the Phillies in 1993, there were two divisions. 1-2. The Atlanta Braves were in the NL West. So when the Phillies played them in the National League Championship Series in 1993, you were playing the AL West winner or the NL West winner. No wild card then, right? No, so it was just the two division winners. Think about that. How dumb baseball was. They didn't have the wild card yet. And when the wild card came around, people were like, "You can't have the wild card. That waters it down." Now you can't get enough playoff games. But anyway, so I believe there is going to be a realignment, and it's more likely than you think. Rob Manfred has said that, yes, he expects it to happen. So they're trying to get two more teams, give it an even 32. They want to expand Charlotte and Portland. Nashville has been discussed as well. You're going to be in Las Vegas, but that's moving an existing franchise. So 8 divisions with 4 teams each. So here's what you have. Here's what they're saying. So in the NL, you would have the Midwest, the Central, the Southwest, and the Northwest. The AL, you would have the Northeast, the Mid-Atlantic, the Great Lakes, and the Southeast. AL Northeast would be Yankees, Mets, Red Sox, Phillies. The Phillies would be an American League team in the same division as the Yankees, the Mets, and the Red Sox. The Mid-Atlantic AL would be the Orioles, Nationals, Pirates, and Guardians. And then you would have the Twins, the Tigers, Milwaukee Brewers, Blue Jays, AL Great Lakes. And then the Southeast would be Atlanta, Marlins, Tampa Bay, and that would be the Charlotte expansion team. So the Phillies would be an AL team and would be in the Northeast with the Yankees, Mets, Red Sox, and Phillies. Ray, your thoughts on this?
A damnation of our great game.
So you don't like it?
This is a disgrace. This is horrid. This is a gross thing to watch happen.
All right, you got to tell me why.
I mean, one, we're just deciding that Phillies Mets is the only thing that matters. And after all, how many times, and the Phillies not played in many World Series, we've seen what? The Yankees twice in the World Series and the Red Sox once in the World Series. Now some are division rivals. We just got to make this a divisional thing. The Phillies, an American League team. Philadelphia having an American League team is an idea for the early 20th century with the Athletics. It is not a early 21st century idea here. They've been a National League organization since 1883. Just because a few people got bored, we're going to decide to turn this around. You fixed it. You got the pitch clock. The games are shorter now. Don't spice me up with a whole new division here. This is gross. This is gross.
All right, so I can, like, for example, the NFC East, I would never want to realign that because you're taking the Cowboys may not be an Eastern team, but there's no way I want the Dallas Cowboys taken out of the same division as the Washington Commanders or the Giants or the Eagles. The Arizona Cardinals were taken out of that division. You know, Arizona we used to be in the NFC East. Mm-hmm. They took them out. Totally fine. No reason to keep the Cardinals in the same division. You can't break that up. Why can't you break up the NL East? Well, you have a great rivalry with the Marlins.
The Braves?
Or the Nationals. Okay, the Braves, but that's the one team you're giving me. It's the Braves. And honestly, like geographically, the only reason they're in the NL East is because they were in the NL West, and they're like, well, we can't have them in the NL West. They're actually on the East Coast. And you're not going to put them in the Central because that doesn't make any sense.
Right.
So you
it's
put them in
NL
the East.
The East.
I actually love the idea.
Oh, it's terrible. I hate it.
This makes too much sense. The Yankees, the Mets are the rival that you need to pair with the Phillies. But the Yankees and the Mets and the Red Sox and the Phillies, that has the most power pack as far as anything else that you could have.
Yeah, how many of those teams are going to make the postseason?
Well, to your point, it makes things more difficult on the Phillies.
Well, I mean, I just think it's ridiculous to have 4 of the top 10 spending teams. And the only reason I'm only going top 10 is because the Red Sox inexplicably are 10th. It would be 3 of the top 4 teams in one division.
And if the Red Sox get good, they will spend more money.
Meanwhile, congratulations to the Braves, who are handed the American League Southeast of the Marlins, the Rays, and whatever they're going to put in Charlotte.
The Charlotte team.
Yeah.
The NL Northwest would be the Mariners, the A's. They're not Northwest, so that they need to be the Southwest. But the Giants and the Portland team. NL Southwest is the Dodgers, the Padres, the Angels, and Arizona. NL Central, Rockies, Kansas City, Texas, and Houston. And then the NL Midwest, both Chicago teams, St. Louis, and the Reds. I love the idea of having both of both New York teams and both Chicago teams in the same division. I think realignment would really give another boost to baseball. And I can look at it from the perspective of, like the Phillies being in a division with the Red Sox, the Mets, and the Yankees certainly puts them in a really difficult division with teams that spend a lot of money. Each team's going to spend more money, for sure. I like it.
Meanwhile, the Mid-Atlantic, AL Mid-Atlantic, between the Orioles, the Nationals, the Pirates, and the Guardians. Big spenders of that division would end up being, I believe, the Orioles, who are 21st in spending.
And but here's the other thing. You're not going to value the divisions as much as you once did.
Which is, I mean, we've kind of gotten to that place right now anyways, which is a little disappointing. Like down the stretch, there was a little bit of September where I was like, I'm rooting for like a team to get to the postseason with like 85 wins. That's like my big chase to like 2007. We remember entirely differently if we're in this current climate, because it's like, oh, are they going to get them? It's like, nah, are they going to get the wild card? Like, are they going to get one of these wild card spots? You know, it doesn't matter as much.
It doesn't. No, you're right. Phillies Mets rivalry is a real rivalry. Braves Phillies, I mean, yeah, only because both teams are good, not because there's any real rivalry. I mean, come on, they barely sell those games out in the playoffs down there. You know, totally fugazi.
Well, yeah, then Braves, Marlins, Rays, like it's gonna be real theater there.
Right.
Congrats on it to Atlanta.
But geographically, it's that makes the most sense of anything they do.
Geographic, I don't care about geography when you're playing everyone. Like, if you were still going 18 games against one another and you were making 9 trips down there, all right, or 3 trips, but 9 games down there, sure. I mean, you're making 2 trips down there.
Right.
Modern technology. You're on a very nice charter flight.
But as far as what baseball's trying to do, which is like you're trying to create these rivalries to where when they play, the games matter. The Sixers are playing the Celtics on Friday night at the Wells Fargo Center. Like, if the teams aren't good together, the rivalry doesn't mean anything. You can hate the Celtics or whatever, but if the Sixers suck and the Celtics are good, no one's going to be running to the Wells Fargo Center to watch the Sixers get beat. Sixers this year, starting the season 4-0, and no Jason Tatum. That game's actually really, but also that's a real rivalry, and they should be in the same division. These teams should be in the same division. This idea NL and AL doesn't make sense to me. How it's set up right now.
It's the way we've done things.
But things have to change, man.
No, they don't. Not this.
Oh, yeah.
You've changed plenty about this game. That's made the game better.
All right, so are you down with realignment?
No.
You don't want any realignment?
No. You can expand, but I don't need realignment. I mean, sure, if you want to hand the Marlins off to someone else, I'm not going to weep.
Yeah, they don't need that. You need a Northeastern division. That's what you need.
Or you need the East, and then you just go give the Marlins to whoever. I don't care. Give them the American League. They go American League East.
I bet you wouldn't be arguing with a Mid-Atlantic. Phillies were in the Mid-Atlantic with the other scrub teams.
But that's the thing, though. We have a very good balance right now in the divisions where there are crap franchises pretty much in each division. Like, there's doormats. Every house needs a doormat. We got doormats in every division. That should work. There is no doormat
here. You're right.
In the Northeast.
No, you're right. So you almost need to add one more team. But if you're doing 8 divisions with 32 teams, you can't. You can't have 5.
Right. Also, the Northeast, the Midland. I'm gonna take me a little while to get in on these names as well.
Well, maybe they can mess around a little bit with the names. But so you're out.
Entirely out.
All right. Text line 610-632-0975. Phone line 610-632-0975. I love it. It doesn't make it any easier on the Phillies. I get it. And that's maybe a lot of the motivation of fans saying, no, you don't want to be in with some of the highest paying teams. But you know what? For baseball, this makes way too much sense. 4 of the largest, loudest cities in there. And by the way, it's a compliment. It is. To be in this, it's like it doesn't make it easier for you. So what? It's not necessarily supposed to be easy. When you play in Philly and you're competing against the Mets and the Yankees and those teams, what do you think? We'll talk about that coming up as well. Big 1 o'clock hour coming up. And last night, Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe joined inside the NBA. And Big Chuck was asking them questions. But Maxey talked about the work ethic of VJ. How good can they be in the backcourt? We have that next coming up. Don't go anywhere. Middays with Marks, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Eagles trade for a corner. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Eagles trade John Mechie, a 2027 6th-round pick to the New York Jets for cornerback Michael Carter and a 2027 7th-round pick. Carter has played primarily in the slot, pushed the question of whether or not the Eagles would kick Cooper DeJean to the outside cornerback spot. James Palmer, an NFL insider, joined us earlier on in the show and said he doesn't believe that's likely. Vic Fangio was asked earlier this week about that possibility, and here's what he had to say.
We considered it, yeah. But, you know, when you have one of the better players at a certain position, and it's an important position where you get involved more, you hate to take a really good player at one position to another position.
The Eagles have the bye this weekend, sitting at 6-2. The NFL trade deadline is Tuesday, November 4th. Flyers host the Predators tonight at 7, looking to win their 3rd game in a row on this homestand. You catch that game live right here on the Fanatic. 76ers at home tomorrow night against the Celtics to open up the NBA Cup. You catch that game live right here on the Fanatic. This update's brought to you by King's Hawaiian Sliders. Eli Manning reminds you there's nothing like football at King's Hawaiian Sliders. King's Hawaiian Sliders makes you a winner on game day. Pick them up this week at the bakery or deli section of your grocery store. I'm Ray Dunn, your home for the Sixers, Flyers, and the Union. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
saw him, I was like, I told everybody, the entire team, I said, listen, I'll be at the gym at 6 o'clock in the morning. Anybody who wants smoke, play ones after we work out, show up. And BJ was there, and Trent Warford was there. There was only 2 players there, and that's when I knew. I was like, oh yeah, he pushing me and going like trying to go at me in ones. That's when I knew. I was like, I went home and told my dad. I'm like, Dad, like you gonna like this kid? Like he got something different mentality about him, and he like to have fun. He like to work. It is the biggest thing that's our similarities. At the end of the day, we competitors. We want to win.
Tyrese Maxey last night on Inside the NBA on ESPN. Right?
Such an odd thing to say.
It is. I don't think at what point does Chuck embrace it? Because every time he says, I'm not going on with Stephen A. Smith, he means it.
They've embraced it already. They were making fun of ESPN last night with, I think they put all their faces on Cowboy cheerleaders saying, we're going to talk about the Cowboys now. They're trying to lean into making fun of where they are.
Right.
Because for so long they've attacked what ESPN is, and now they're like, you know what, we'll just attack it from the inside. I will say the fabric of that show, it feels like they've done a good job so far of not breaking it.
It doesn't seem any different.
No. I mean, I'm always skeptical, but the one thing you can say about ESPN, even if you don't like the big names that they've invested in, they want the properties they've invested in to succeed in their way. They moved on from high-profile people in that company to make sure that McAfee did his show the way McAfee wanted to do his show. They've invested a lot of money to make sure Stephen A. still is a part of what they do. They invest inside the NBA. It's hard for me to imagine they're going to change what made inside the NBA work.
No, and they shouldn't. And it only will help them because ESPN is, even though the popular thing to say is like, oh, ESPN, I'll never watch that, or I don't watch that, or whatever. There's more eyes on you if you're on ESPN than if you're on TNT. TNT is such a, I don't know. I mean, who thinks of sports with TNT?
Well, yeah, that's the case. I mean, and that was the thing that I was worried about with them going to ESPN. At TNT, all you were preempting is like the next Impractical Jokers rerun. Like that was the next thing coming on the air. So if you wanted to go long with it inside the NBA, who cares?
Problem. Yep.
You know, what happens when you're giving up the live programming that ESPN's paid a lot of money for sports-wise because inside the NBA is on their airwaves?
Right, but the only thing they're really going to preempt if they go long is Scott Van Pelt and ESPN and SportsCenter, which, I mean, I don't know how he's going to feel about that or whatever. I mean, they're really not on a lot before the end of the year. I think they have, I don't know if they're on again like soon, but then you have to go into December. They don't do a lot of, I don't know where I was reading this, but they don't have a lot of shows coming up here before the end of the year.
It's worked out so far. It's good. I mean, it was the right thing to do. It was weird. They were getting the farewell tour and they were going to stay, which made, I think, a lot of people worried. But
right. Well,
they're back. They're still funny.
It's just that it's being produced by the same people. So
Yeah.
they're more or less saying we're not going to change what we're doing. We're just now on a different network.
Right.
On ESPN, which is not a bad thing.
Instead, it's the SportsCenter jingle instead of up next. You're not going to believe what Sal gets into tonight.
Right. I mean, if Barkley, I don't think Barkley even wants the opportunity to have to go on with Stephen A. because he hates the hot talk. He hates the hot take talk.
Yeah. And I also think for Charles, like, you get a pretty handsome sum without having to do the 25. Like, if you're on ESPN now, if you work for ESPN, you better believe at 6 o'clock in the morning, they're waking up out of bed saying, we need you to hit here, 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 here. All right, it's 8 o'clock at night. Enjoy your evening.
Yeah,
he doesn't want that life.
He's not doing that.
No.
Yeah, no, he is not going to be he's not going up to the ESPN campus like Orlovsky gets paid a lot of money. And those guys get paid handsomely to do that. Charles isn't doing that.
Right. And, like, for as much as people want to criticize those people at ESPN and anyone that works on those networks, we criticize their takes, whatever. You get inside that ecosystem, they're going to use you like nobody's business until they decide, ratings don't work for you.
Until your contract expires and you're leaving or they cut people, whatever. Yeah. Charles doesn't need to do that. He could have went to NBC, Amazon. He could have done things on his terms, but he wants to stay with the show as he should. It's a good show.
Yeah, that production crew still has a job because they all stuck.
Yep. Yeah, but as far as what they were talking about with Edgecombe, one of the, like, because, I mean, honestly, Ray, I know you probably pay attention to more college basketball than I do. You and Harry or Temple buddies.
Mm-hmm.
My Temple buddy, my Temple buddy, my Temple buddy. You're too young to have a buddy, my buddy, or kid sister. It was a toy when I was a kid.
Yeah, too young. Sorry.
No. But, I can't tell you I watch any college basketball really at all. If Temple's good, I'll pay attention. If Nova's good, I'll pay attention. But other than that, even when the tournaments, I watch the tournament. That's a lot of people like that kind of start paying attention. Tournament time, conference tournaments.
And I think
things
people
like that.
would be surprised for the amount of college basketball work that I do, the amount of college basketball I watch, just because a lot of the times when those games are on, I'm working.
Yeah, you're on.
So I always think it's funny when they hand us a promo of like, oh, this big, especially early in the season, it's like, promo this big game on Saturday on ESPN. I'm like, I need a pronunciation guide for these guys. Like,
Right.
I got not like their first 3 games of the season I was on the air for. Like, they're top 25, but.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Working. Yeah.
Doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not going to lie and say I knew who VJ Edgecombe was at all. I didn't. Ace Bailey, I knew they had 2 really good players at Rutgers that didn't do squat, and the team wasn't good, but they were really good prospects. So initially when everything comes out, it's like, well, Ace Bailey is the guy that's being talked about as being that, maybe a Kevin Durant type. He's raw. Everything you're looking for as far as an NBA body and what he does, that's what you're looking for. But then with the direction where that went, and then everything you heard about VJ Edgecombe was that he's raw as well, but he is so focused and so mature, and everything is basketball, and he's so focused on he plays defense, and he's got this motor and everything else. And it was at that time where I was like, well, that's who you want. You're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN, NWPEN, HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities, because they couldn't miss on the pick. They couldn't draft somebody who, and it happens all the time in the NBA. You can't have a top 3 pick, top 5 pick, and miss. At least the Sixers couldn't, because this is the guy that was supposed to usher you in the post Joel Embiid era. Him, Maxey, maybe McCain, whoever else. And if you take an Ace Bailey, if it's a high risk, high reward, I don't know if I want to do it, because the high risk is that you need this guy now. And Edgecombe is giving you much more than I think a lot of people realize he was going to give you from Jump Street, but you also couldn't miss. This was a culture-setting pick for Daryl Morey and the 76ers. And by drafting a guy like this, that is just everything you could have hoped for out of VJ Edgecombe, it's times 100 so far after 4 games.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
And with what you get from him, the thing with Ace Bailey for me so much was, when was he going? Like, if they really thought they could win with this core coming this year, when was Ace Bailey going to get the ball, get his shot, and like really be able to isolate and go alone on an offense? Sorry, Maxey, Paul George, and like you're never going to get the max out of him right now. And I was not ready to deal with another guy that took games off, it felt like, in college, and I had question marks about where the motor was when the season was going the wrong way. There was no question about VJ Edgecombe's motor, and he's been a pleasant surprise for me, not just beyond the arc, but also on the fact that he's bringing the ball up when Maxey's on the floor. Like, the fact that he has been a defensive-oriented guard that actually plays on ball alongside Maxey feels like a little bit of a dream. Like, that's the ideal pairing in that backcourt with Maxey that you were searching for.
And he doesn't need a guy that he's very interested in facilitating and getting guys their looks. Not that he's afraid to shoot, and he's not. But he's not he's not a point guard that just is going to bring it down and shoot. He's not a gunner. And he's been unbelievable. He really, really has. I'm surprised he's had this big of an impact this early. I thought he was going to have an impact this year with energy and defense and things like that. And tomorrow night, it's been a long time since I have been anticipating a 76ers game like this, especially this early in the season. But Boston, even without Jason Tatum, this is one of these games. Let's go. Home game tickets. I was on the Game Time app. Tickets are not expensive. Maybe they've jumped since I looked, but you can get lower. You have tickets tomorrow night with your tickets or no?
I did not draft this game, and I say partially it's my NBA Cup. I would say disinterest. I don't like the NBA Cup. I think it's a dumb gimmick.
It is.
And on top of that, it is Halloween, so I kind of figured
I got you, Ted. So. It's Halloween. Oh, so maybe that's got to be a big reason why the demand for the tickets are
right. You're gonna take the kids there, or you're gonna take the kids trick or treating.
Yeah, you're not taking the kids.
Right. But I think for some people this perfect night for you.
It's even
better.
Down
there. Yeah.
Yeah, there were lower court tickets for like 8 rows off for $80.
Maybe I have new plans tomorrow night.
Seriously, you go out afterwards. But this is we'll be home by the time the games start and getting going. It's an Amazon game, so maybe it's an 8 o'clock start too.
By the way, Amazon's theme music, pretty good.
I don't know it.
I had someone play it for me for the first time because I didn't pay any attention to it the first time I went on Prime. It's actually not bad.
Can we play it coming up?
We'll go find it, grab it for you.
All right. Also, Eagles made a trade yesterday. Earlier, we talked to James Palmer, NFL insider, about the expectation for the cornerback position. We'll play that. And what did Vic Fangio say earlier this week about Cooper DeJean moving outside the corner? A lot more coming up here. It's Middays with Marks, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Better players at a certain position, and it's an important position where you get involved more. You hate to take a really good player at one position to maybe not be as good a player or impactful of a player at another position. But it's definitely something that we've talked about.
All right, we're back. That's Vic Fangio. When he's not talking about the Phillies, he does mention some Eagles things, as he is the team's defensive coordinator. And he's talking about the newest Eagle, Michael Carter, and he's talking about Cooper DeJean. A lot of people thought when they traded for Michael Carter yesterday for the Jets, he is a slot cornerback. So, we need an outside corner. We just traded for a slot. That must mean Cooper DeJean is going to be the starting outside corner. We have James Palmer, noted NFL insider, who he tweeted this out pretty much right away yesterday. That is not going to be the case. Now, I think Cooper DeJean sometimes may be playing some of that outside corner, but it sure seems like they view Cooper DeJean as a weapon, and they want to move him around and put him in different spots as a safety, as a nickel corner, depending on what defense they're running. Cooper DeJean, they like his versatility more than just saying, okay, well, he's the outside corner. I honestly don't think that he's a natural fit for the outside as far as what you're looking for. So, I mean, if he was, hey, he could be one of the best outside corners in the league, maybe they would make him that. But it's every time you hear the Eagles talk about Cooper DeJean, it sure seems like that they think that they want him doing a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah, he's the weapon defensively. You just throw him all over the place, right? You don't need him to have a real true set position.
Can't put him in a box.
No, you can't. Unless everyone else around him stinks, in which case you're the outside corner. That's kind of, this move just seems like outside corner insurance. Howie's like, all right, I made the move in the preseason. I got you Ja'Cory Bennett. It may have been my decision to get you Adoree Jackson, and that's on me. And this guy, Keely Ringo, we drafted, we liked for a little while there. One of those three guys, patch them together, however many snaps you need for him. In base, Cooper DeJean will play outside anyways. Between those three guys, you have to make something work. But if you don't, Vic, here's another slot corner.
Just in case.
Just to have. Just, if you turn around and say, I need some help out there. There he is. Just wait.
They wanted Ringo to have the job. Adoree Jackson was insurance if that didn't happen. Now, and then they traded for Bennett when it was clear it wasn't going to be Ringo, and they also didn't really like what they saw at Adoree Jackson, so they made the Bennett trade. So now you have these three. I mean, if I had to bet, I would say that you're still going to see Ringo and Jackson as your starter. And Bennett maybe is thrown in there to get another opportunity to take the job. But I think they're going to be your other three corners. I do. I was worried when they lost Slay. How do you replace him? Slay hasn't been great this year either. Pittsburgh's defense stinks. They're getting beat up every week.
It's crazy when you build an old defense, it starts to look like an old defense midway through the year. Just an old team, too.
Yeah.
I really weep for Aaron Rodgers. I do. It's very unfortunate to see everything that's happened out there in Pittsburgh.
Tough to watch.
It's just,
it is.
It couldn't happen to a guy that wants less attention on.
Really heartbreaking.
Heartbreaking, really. I feel for him. Certainly. I do. I might actually drive out to Pittsburgh, and just drop off an edible arrangement out in front of the facility.
That'd be nice of you.
Yeah, just
edible arrangement. I wouldn't. That's a good call.
He's never made it about himself, and for him to be out there in Pittsburgh suffering through a season like this, it's just bad for the ultimate team guy to go through such a difficult season for his team.
That's a shame.
I know. I just breaks my heart.
It's a real shame. In other news, I guess it's now official. Matt Rule back to Nebraska. He ended up weaseling a contract extension and more money out of this. Unbelievable.
I mean, that's the play here.
Was that the play, or was he getting in his feelings when he was asked about it because of Penn State? Remember, the first time he spoke, it sounded like he's talking like when he left Temple. He's talking like when he left Baylor. By the way, I never, and I'm not a Penn State fan, but I never wanted Matt Rule to leave Nebraska. He needs to stay there and he needs to build it. And if he gets fired because it's not working, then he can go wherever else. But stay at a place and actually build it and try to win something.
Yeah.
So I'm happy he's staying in Nebraska.
I mean, I was in for the storyline of him walking back out on the field at the link, selfishly next year with Penn State. That was going to be, and for him, he's a state college guy, went to Penn State. It would be a cool story. I'm not heartbroken that he's staying in Nebraska. And for him, I think the play was probably the Penn State job. And
are they not interested?
Well, that's the weird thing here. To sign the extension now with so many of these jobs coming open, I don't know. What's your are you driving your own buyout price up? Because I imagine that's what happens in this extension. That buyout price goes higher.
Well, but you also, you get more money. That's why you do it. You get more hours, you get more years, you get more money, that's what they all want.
So you do it now because there's so many openings that they can sense that your agent's already talking to someone.
You do it now because if you don't, he leaves. It's that simple. Even if he really isn't going to leave, the schools never have any leverage. If you're able, you just can't. That's the thing about college is that you can just take whatever coach you want. You just got to pay. You can't do this in the NFL. You'd have to trade. You have to give compensation for it. In college, it's just a money thing. So the universities are powerless. You do whatever you want. So Matt Rule, all of a sudden, Penn State. I don't know if he had interest or he just played this really well, but everybody certainly for at least a little bit thought Matt Rule was going to Penn State. And Nebraska could have been like, you know what, the hell with you, go to Penn State, or he's already been there a couple years, and they haven't gotten where they want to go to, but I want to see Matt Rule I want him to see this through. And if it works, it works. And if 3 years they're still where they are right now and they're not anywhere closer to being in college football, then move on or go somewhere else.
Then, hey, Casey Keeler's getting close to retirement. He calls it a career. Matt Rule, you come on back.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you always wanted to come back. If money was no object, you loved it here.
And he may work just as a volunteer or take very little salary because he knows Temple doesn't have the biggest budget.
Well, listen, how much did he get paid by the Panthers? We're not talking about a guy that exactly needs like a handout here.
Well, he didn't get that money. He made a lot of money when he went to Nebraska. There's with all these contracts, like Penn State's not paying James Franklin anything. James Franklin's going to go to Virginia Tech, by the way. That's the big thing.
Kind of good for him.
No.
Why not?
Because they'll lose. I saw a lot of Penn State fans were saying, "Oh my God, he recruits so well in that Virginia area. This is really going to kill Penn State." He was recruiting for Penn State, not for Virginia Tech. James Franklin's a good recruiter at Penn State. He's going to say, "Oh well, you're going to love me at Virginia Tech," and No, you go to Penn State. That's what catches people's attention. And James Franklin might be a good recruiter, but that's at Penn State. Maybe it'll hurt him a little bit, but I don't think he goes. What does he do at Virginia Tech? That's a dead program. They win 8 games. So from that standpoint, if they go 8-4 every year and people are happy, sure.
That's what I mean. He could go 8-4 down there. You get him into a bowl game. All it takes is one successful season in a place like that.
But he's so full of crap, and he's just on game day he was talking about I'm going to go win a national title somewhere else. Yeah, right.
He's not going to win a national title, but in the ACC, where I've watched North Carolina, well, not now, but North Carolina at one point was looking like they were going to be 8-4 consistently, and then they decided to bring in Belichick. Duke with Manny Diaz has turned into a decent program for the ACC.
8-4, 7-5, 9-3. That's what you're going to see. Best case.
James Franklin could get crushed by Clemson in the ACC championship game year in and year out.
Yes.
He could be the stepping stone for someone else to get to their national championship every year.
He's going to do the same thing he did at Penn State.
Right. So that's 8-4, 9-3.
And I guess Virginia Tech would be happy as hell to have that.
Think about it. Friday night, Enter Sandman, James Franklin against a big-time opponent. It's like the whiteout. They're going to lose against a great team, but you're going to get a heck of an atmosphere. That's almost the perfect fit for the guy.
Will you go down and watch the games?
I want to go down there anyways, just for the Enter Sandman.
Really?
That seems like a crazy environment. When it's good. They're not good right now, so it's not worth me planning out a weekend. But I'd like to go down. I'd like to get to more college football games.
I say it every year, and every year I don't go to any.
Yeah, well, I've been saying that too.
Well, we're also working. It's difficult to. I want to go to I want to go to University of Texas. I want to see the Red River rivalry in Texas. Actually, I would go to Oklahoma too.
My roommate went down to Austin. Was it last season? I think it was last season, and just nothing but great things.
Pete Cherokee, Chickies and Pete's, his son. I think he still goes there, but his son, he was going down every year. His son went to University of Texas, and little Pete's son told me that it's unbelievable. I feel like to go down, you'd have to be single almost to go down to there.
Ah, no problem for me. You know what? You take the rest of the show. I got to get on American Airlines.
All right, coming up, we got a bunch of stuff to get to. We haven't really checked in the text line. We'll do that. Feedback is coming up at the end of the show. Also, ESPN Cleveland, their radio station, put out an idea for a Myles Garrett trade that involves the Eagles. You buy it? Would you do it? That's coming up next. Middays with Marks, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Eagles trade for a corner. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. The Eagles trade John Mechie and a 2027 6th-round pick to the New York Jets for cornerback Michael Carter, a 2027 7th-round pick. Carter has played primarily in the slot in his career, posing the question of whether or not the Eagles would kick DeJean out to the outside cornerback spot. James Palmer joined us earlier on in this show. You can catch our conversation with him on the Fanatic app or 975thefanatic.com. Really shot down that idea. And Vic Fangio earlier in the week was asked about the idea of moving DeJean outside.
We considered it, yeah. But, when you have one of the better players at a certain position, and it's an important position where you get involved more, you hate to take a really good player at one position to another position.
Eagles right now 6-2 at the bye. NFL trade deadline is Tuesday, November 4th. Flyers host the Predators tonight at 7, looking to win their 3rd in a row on the homestand. You can listen to that game right here on the Fanatic. Also on the Fanatic tomorrow night, the 76ers at home against the Celtics. That is the first game of the NBA Cup for the Sixers. This update is brought to you by King's Hawaiian Sliders. Eli Manning reminds you there's nothing like football and King's Hawaiian Sliders. King's Hawaiian Sliders makes you a winner on game day. Pick them up this weekend in the bakery or deli section of your grocery store. I'm Ray Dunn here, home for the Sixers, Flyers, and Union, 97.5 The Fanatic.
3 late number 1 picks, given the dearth of talent and the amount of needs that the Browns have. If I was Andrew, and I'm no capologist, and I know this is a cap mess, and I know that there's a no trade clause involved, but if someone called me with 3 number 1 draft picks, after what happened this past Sunday, where a guy has the greatest game I've ever seen a defensive end play, sacked the quarterback 5 times, and you still lose by 3 scores.
You're making that trade.
It's something I'd have to consider.
So if you are the owner, would you even want AB making that trade because of where we're at?
This is a trade that the owner's got to negotiate and do anyway.
That's ESPN Cleveland, the radio station. We're back. Middays with Marks. And when they at the end, when he said, do you even want AB making that trade? That's about their general manager, Andrew Berry, former in the Eagles front office, Andrew Berry.
Yes, Andrew Berry, the reason why the Steelers lost to the Bengals.
Absolutely.
Yes. Mike Tomlin was so shook by the idea of Joe Flacco entering a football game.
He sure was. And now you see why.
Yeah. It's threw the entire season off.
Came back and they beat him. All right, so but I want to make this clear. I did a very extensive search at about 15 seconds on Google to see if this is an actual thing that's being put out by a legitimate reporter, and it's not. So I don't know the source, or if this is just one of these barroom conversations and then someone hears it and it's just like happens with me. Someone's having a conversation on sports radio and then I get friends texting me saying like, "Oh, is this true? Is this really happening?" It's like, "No, it's a hypothetical." So I think this is a hypothetical situation where Myles Garrett's unhappy. He had 5 sacks. How do you have 5 sacks and lose by like 20-some points? You have 5 sacks in a game and your team loses by 20-some points.
Cleveland.
It's Cleveland, right? So it would make sense that even at this point he just signed the contract, but there's probably cap ramifications that make it almost impossible and things like that. However, if you believe the Eagles were in on Micah Parsons, do you believe the Eagles were making phone calls on Micah Parsons, right?
I do.
As do I. And Jerry Jones said, no, we're not trading you in division, which I wouldn't have done either. I would have said, hell no. Howie, I'm not even answering your calls. Then you'd be damn sure that Howie has probably already made some calls about this and is in contact, especially considering him and Andrew Berry used to work together, and he used to work for Andrew Berry. So 3 first-round draft picks. I don't think you're getting – Micah Parsons got 2 plus a player, and then they had to give a draft pick back. Micah Parsons is one of the top edge rushers in the league. Myles Garrett is a tier above. Myles Garrett he dominates. He's the best defensive end in the league, best edge rusher in the league. You have to give up 3 first-round draft picks to get this guy. I would think. That should be the market. If you go into the offseason, and honestly, like, when Myles Garrett was saying he wanted to be traded, the Browns made a mistake in not trading him because they could have gotten an unbelievable haul. They're not ready to win anything right now. They're going to waste Myles Garrett. They should have traded him then. And who knows how much ownership was in charge and pushing the buttons on that. But would you trade 3 first-round draft picks, hypothetically, in this hypothetical world? Would you trade 3 first-round draft picks for Myles Garrett? I just don't know how you do it, and you pay him $40 million a year.
Yeah. This is one that I think I respectfully pass on. 2, maybe I consider it. 3 feels a little rich for my blood.
Who cares about the 3rd one? Why not go 4?
Hey, you know what? Let's do it. 4! I'm signing up for it.
As I'm reading somebody puts it on Twitter, rumors circulating saying the Eagles, and this is 6 minutes ago, rumors circulating saying the Eagles may be in on trading for Myles Garrett, even with a 3 first-round draft pick price tag. There's no validity to these claims, but would you do it?
Yeah.
It's kind of like what we said. Like, I don't think this is a real rumor, but would you do it?
No, yeah. This is ESPN Cleveland saying, well, 3 first-round picks. Like, honestly, what you're doing here in Sports Talk Radio land is setting up Andrew Berry to fail. Because Andrew Berry is not getting 3 first-round picks. The price tag should be set at that, but they're not going to get 3 first. I don't think, at least, ahead of the trade deadline, they're getting 3 first-round picks.
In 8 games, he has 10 sacks this year.
Yeah, he's kind of good.
So, since his second year in the league, 13.5, 10, 12, 16, 16, 14, 14, 10. He's going to get close to 20 this year. And this isn't a guy that's just he's not the who's the loser sack specialist we had here, the white guy that got lots of sacks but everybody hated him. During Chip Kelly, Jason Babin. Jason Babin. This isn't a Jason Babin where he's a sack specialist. That's all he does. This dude is an unbelievable athlete.
Game wrecker.
Him,
Carter on the same defensive line. You know what? Screw it. Yeah, take your 3 first-round draft picks. What do I care about 2028 for?
Well, Howie, actually, I won 4 first-round draft picks.
Oh, yeah, all right. Now, Barry, you're going to be begging me for a job in a few years. How about you calm down back there with the negotiating? Basically, Myles Garrett's coming to the organization you're going to work for in like 2 years.
Now, I would say to add a sweetener of Tanner McKee, but they have 5 quarterbacks on their roster right now as it is.
Right. Can I interest you in a disgruntled wide receiver?
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah. But there's no chance they're taking A.J. Brown.
No.
That's what I'm saying. Like the Eagles also don't really have a player that you're going to trade, as opposed to giving a second-round draft pick. I don't think that you have a player you're going to trade.
Did you see the way that Jackson Dart ran into Jalen Hunt's hands this weekend?
I did. Ran right into him.
That could happen for you.
Jalen Hunt. I'm sure they would take.
Did you see that pick 6 against Carson Wentz?
Man,
that could happen for you.
Making third. Was he a third rounder? Making third round money.
2 firsts to Jalen Hunt. Man.
Ojimo.
Yeah, there you go.
I would trade him, but you know what I mean.
Right. Oh, he's one of those. You would.
He's good.
When he walked out of the door of the facility, you'd have the thought in your head of, man, I hope this one doesn't come back to bite me.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not stopping me from getting Myles Garrett.
Correct.
You don't want to trade. You don't want to trade him.
You're taking his key card, but you're going to feel a certain type of way about doing it.
I mean, I'd say it's unrealistic, but I thought them trading for Micah Parsons was unrealistic, and apparently Howie was doing more than kicking the tires.
While we're having this conversation about unrealistic, I do want to say I want to give you props for the fact that when I saw yesterday the notification of trade, the Eagles have traded wide receiver, my heart did drop for a second. You at least put the thought enough in my head where I was like, oh, there's no way Mark's got this one.
Well, I mean, I it's been confirmed by many insiders now, including our own James Palmer, who had said that, yeah, I agree with you. I think that is strategically placed in that Adam Schefter article to let people know, hey, he's available if you come correct. But we're not just trading him.
Right. But yeah, you did. You put enough of a scare in me where I saw that notification yesterday.
Good.
I was like, I was really worried. And then my heart broke even more when I found out it was John Mechie.
What a loss. What is your go-to Mechie moment as an Eagle?
Probably trying to pick the ball up off the turf on the knuckleball kickoffs. That'll be what his lasting legacy is for me. And that one catch that one time where I was like, oh, John Mechie's in the game.
He had that. I remember that catch.
Oh.
I think he had 4 of them.
Yeah.
In his Eagles career.
Yes. It'll be a fun trivia night question tiebreaker someday.
On the show, we'll have to do it.
Yeah.
All right. That's coming up. So feedback is coming up on the program, coming up next. Everything that happened on the show, we get your feedback, and we'll wrap it up, give our predictions on the Thursday night football game tonight. That's coming up. Middays with Marks, 97.5, The Fanatic.
streaming live and on demand. Just download the 97.5 The Fanatic app and listen whenever and wherever.
All right. Feedback coming up in a second. Middays with Marks, Harry Mays in tomorrow. It's always a football Friday, right? We have to call it Football Friday, even though the Eagles aren't playing. Football Friday. A lot happened on the show today. Halloween is tomorrow. By the way, I'm not dressing up for the show.
You're not?
No, I do this every year where my intentions are I'm doing it, and then I don't get a costume. And then, yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm not. Harry's not either. So, I could go out and get something tonight.
Or it could just be me.
Or it could just be you.
Yeah.
Which is probably what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I've been planning this one since we were running a certain promo over the summer for a while. So.
So that you've had your heart set on this.
Yeah, I've kind of been really dead set on this.
Okay. No, but by all means, let's do it.
I just think it's a good way to say thanks to the good doctors in our lives.
Okay.
And we'll get to that tomorrow.
All right. Well, that's coming up tomorrow. On Thursdays, Ray, we'll get the feedback in a second. On Thursdays, so I have 3 daughters. For people who don't know, I have a 4th grader, a 3rd grader, and a 4-year-old, and she'll be in kindergarten next year. So she does nursery school 3 days a week, and then my mom watches her at our house on Tuesday, and then I take her on Thursday to Delco to my in-laws. So on Thursday morning, I'm in the car, and it's a long drive to Delco, traffic, battling, 422, Schuylkill. I hit the trifecta. 422, Schuylkill, and Blue Route. Whatever, it's not too bad. But so in the car, though, like with young kids, I like to listen. I listen to John and Andrew. I'll put on news radio for like traffic stuff, even though I have an app that I'm looking at. Like I kind of bounce around to hear what's going on. And so this morning I'm listening to John and Andrew, and then I'm listening to MMR for the Pierre stuff. She ain't having it. She's not interested in listening to any of that stuff. You know what she's interested in listening to? Kids Bop. So in particular, this is what she's requesting this morning, and it's Who Let the Dogs Out. Not the original Baja Men, Who Let the Dogs Out. This one right here, Who Let the Dogs Out. Not just once. Not twice. What did LeBron say one time? Not 1, not 2, not 3. Oh, it's bad. When I put it on, she gets a kick out of it. Yippee-I-yo. It's actually better with Kids Bop than the original. At least kids are singing it. So she, thank you. You can bring that down. Who? My older kids, when they ask for, they'll be like, guys, you're old enough to where you don't have to listen to Kids Bop. You can hear the original music. Kids Bop is, I went to a Kids Bop concert a couple years ago now. I was on a Friday in Camden. I didn't realize what I was walking into. They don't actually sing. They lip sync. So you've been to a show at the whatever it's called these days in Camden.
I call it BB&T because that's what it was the first time I was there.
The Blockbuster Tweeter Center, whatever it's called. And yeah, so I was very, very happy to go because my kids wanted to see it or whatever. And this is a couple years ago, so they were even younger. And I'm thinking I'm going to see these young kids singing. When you say, Alexa, play Kids Bop, that's what you're hearing at this concert. The same freaking track, but they're lip syncing. And so they do bits in between the songs, and they're slow to pot the mics back up because you'll see them talking and you can't hear them in the bits, and then all of a sudden someone will realize it and put the mic on, and then you'll catch them mid-sentence doing the bit.
So you're telling me it was also like
poorly produced?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was poorly produced.
Yeah, okay.
But
I always act as if the person that was producing it's listening. Yeah. Like I don't want to
offend the Kids Bop producer that travels with them.
Well, the Kids Bop producer could be like, well, that midday show on the Fanatic's poorly produced, so we could go back and forth. There,
and he may be correct.
Yeah,
but
we could trade notes.
Yeah, so that's what. So she wanted Kids Bop this morning, and then there's this other thing which you don't have. I forgot to send this to Nate, but if you look on YouTube. There's a guy that teaches young kids to do the Eagles chant.
Oh.
And but she loves it. The problem is it's like a minute long, but she wants to hear it over and over and over again. But it's longer than a minute because he goes into, he's like selling something, he goes into something else. So you have to actually like go to the phone and then rewind it all the way back. It's not just where you can put it on repeat. And it does the same thing over and over and over again. So then she went to that. Then she wants to hear the Eagles song. Because she likes at the end, the guy goes, "Go Birds!" So
That's a good sign.
Well, yeah, the kids all knew the Eagles chant before 3. Before they were, yeah.
Good parenting.
Yeah, like they learned the walk, they learned potty train, then their Eagles chant. So there you go. So who let the dogs out? So if you're wondering what I'm doing driving to work on Thursdays, let's listen to Kids Bop. Which some of it's better than the regular artist.
Yeah, I'll be honest, listening to that one, I would lose my mind. So,
right.
I think I just realized how far off I am from wanting kids listening to that.
Well, I'm going to the Jingle Ball in December.
Well, that's different.
Is it?
Yeah.
I think it's more painful than.
Well, I mean, not. With all due respect to the lineup they put out there this year, I was more interested in last year's lineup, but.
Oh, well, you actually care about the artists that are playing.
Right.
I don't.
Yeah. I would go to Jingle Ball.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can get you a ticket. You can come sit with us.
I'll go see if they added anyone to the lineup I originally saw.
You and my daughter can bop around together listening.
I think. Have you been to Jingle Ball?
No.
Yeah, I think you might be mistaken this a little bit.
What do you mean?
Like, I don't think it's just like a kid's thing.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
No, believe me, I know it's not. It's real artists. But yeah, no, this isn't Kids Bop. I know that. It's more painful than Kids Bop to me.
Not a concert guy.
At least Kids Bop, you have parents and young kids. Here, I'm going to have teenagers and you know what I mean?
So
like,
the
I don't
people
want
like
that.
me are actually the reason why you don't want to be there.
Yeah, I don't want the actual people that are paying money to go see it because they're fans. I don't want that.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. Whatever. Fair enough.
All right. Time for feedback. What do we got?
Now, it's time for feedback.
How about filling us in?
I can't lie! Email us at 975feedback at 975thefanatic.com.
Say it! Let me tell you something!
Or text us at 610-632-0975.
Let me tell you something else, man.
It's feedback on Middays with Marks.
We got
2 options for Ray's comedy show name. Half-baked, fully done. Not quite done yet.
Half-baked, fully done.
I like that one.
That's good.
That's pretty good.
I could totally see that.
Half-baked, fully done.
Did you see Ray Dunn's new Netflix special? Half-baked, fully done.
That'll be when you know Netflix hit its peak and fell off. It's like they gave Ray a comedy special. It's like, oh, that Netflix price has gone down considerably.
Well, by the way, what I've learned looking on social media, like when I look at Soul Joel's, when they have the people come in, I'm always clicking on them to see how big they are, and then it's like, well, they have 10,000 followers, and you go and it's like they all have podcasts.
Yep.
Go figure.
Yep.
And it's like, check out my comedy special. You have a comedy special?
Yeah, well, I got one on Prime. I got one on Hulu. Once Netflix was started going big on the comedy specials, all the other streaming services were like, where's the comedian that made me laugh once?
Yep. Hey, we need a comedy special.
Get me a comic.
Wow, what's that?
Ray, call it. The same things that make you laugh and make you cry. Tour with Ray. I put the D in done. Dawood Spriggs.
Wow. I put the D in done. That one didn't roll off the tongue quite as...
No, it didn't. All right. There was one more comedy show right
All right.
How about Dickie Dunn's Thigh Slapper comedy show? Fuzzy 007.
All right. Moving from the comedy.
What we got?
I think since Schwarber is a full-time DH, he actually could sustain hitting 40-plus home runs a year for the next 5 years. I agree 3 to 4 years is better. One of these years might be up in the air because of the lockout. Brenton from Cumberland.
Well, Brent, I agree. And people that are worried that in 2 years that Kyle Schwarber is going to drop off dramatically, I don't see that. I don't see the power. Is he going to hit 56 home runs? No, I don't think that's going to happen. But let's just say year 3 of the deal. How many, what does he have? 40 home runs? I think he can. Easy. Year 4, can he have 35 home runs? 30 home runs? Yep. Who cares about year 5? He'll probably be traded by then. You can trade him to a team that's in contention.
Yeah, why not?
For A.J. Brown, it's about the life of the alpha. It's all about the hunt, just not the trophy. Ron in Allentown.
Huh. It's about the hunt. It's not about the actual kill. But he's chasing happiness that he's not finding.
Right.
Winning a Super Bowl didn't bring him any happiness.
Yeah, and the kill was what he thought was going to bring him joy. So.
And it didn't. All right, we got.
Not surprised John loves this awful realignment idea. Thank you, Ray, for being the voice of reason. Rob from South Jersey.
Well, Rob, I know most people don't like change with everything. I understand that. And that's why you need to have somebody that's really forward-thinking, see the big picture, that sometimes you do need to make change. And I'm not afraid of change, Ray.
I'm not either. This change just sucks.
Yeah, you don't like this change.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been willing to forego fortune and fame and jobs for nothing and leave those jobs. So, yeah, I don't mind changing. Not that it's the right thing to do. This was the right thing to do. That was sexy.
Ray, please curb Mark's singing for the sake of all dogs. Thanks. Delaware Valley SPCA.
Oh,
what was I singing again?
I forget. Something was it Pearl Jam earlier?
Oh, yeah, Jeremy Spoken. Hoo. Is that feedback?
That is feedback for you. I will say, we went to a new AI voice today.
Didn't like it.
No, didn't like it. It sounded like someone I know. I don't know who. I don't know who I know that might be a robot now. Did not like it at the slightest.
I was thinking the same.
I want the old AI voice back. The pre-British
woman. But now we're all out of whack. I like the Ravens tonight, -7.5. They're on the road against the Dolphins. Lamar Jackson comes back. Coming up next is Ricky and Bill Unfiltered. Talk to you tomorrow. See you.